What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today? It is Friday, and y'all know what that means. That means we're gonna have us a good old time tonight. I'm your host, Emmanuel Eman Noisette. Want to thank each and every one of you for coming by today. Guys, we have got a lot of stuff to talk about today. It's going to be pretty Marvel heavy. We've got a lot of different rumors, different updates. We got X-Men movie coming. We'll talk about that. Definitely gonna talk about that. Marvel's doing some rebranding and changing up some things, so we'll get into what all that could mean. And yeah, we got a bunch of other updates, smaller updates for different things that are happening. But we will get through all of those and of course talk about other movie things as well. But I want to see, before we get started, let's see who made it out today so we can give a couple quick shout outs as people start to trickle in. Let's see. Ism, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Paulette, what is up? Kimmy J, good to see you. Thank you so much to Kristen Pratt and the rest of the Mod Squad for holding it down. Appreciate you guys. What is up? Thank you so much for Anthony for being here. Ms. Harper, thank you so much for being here as well. And yes, everybody have a great holiday weekend coming up, because man, ain't nothing like a 3-day weekend. Woo, woo, woo. Love it, love it, love it. Zia Latrice, the homie's back. Thank you so much. Nighthawk, what is up? Good to see you. Shar, back in action. Thank you so much. Jay, what is up? Good to see you. Jesus, how are you? Tasha, good to see you. My man Corey is back. Good to see you as well. Nelson V, what is up? Dorian, thank you so much for being here. Didier, what is up? Good to see you. Mr. Mitchell, how you doing? Treese, hello. Tracy, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you as well. Let's see. Stephanie holding it down. What is up? Good to see you. Rhonda, the homie, is back in action. Thank you so much. What's up, Tyra? Good to see you. Talented one, how you doing? Cal Payne, what's going down? Let's see. Namesake is back in action. What is going on? 60 plus is here. Hello. Mama J is in the house. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Alib, hello. Thank you so much for hanging out. CJ is back. What is going on? Who else did I see? Metreon, what is up? Good to see you. Mr. Icon, thank you so much for being here. Akuri, hello. Theo, what is up? Good to see you. Lamar, appreciate you for being here. Who else did I see? I saw a couple other names. There we go. My man Ernest, thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate you. Kristen, good to see you as well. Shauna, thank you so much for making it out. There we go. The homie Kiki West, thank you so much. One of the top supporters, man. Y'all, listen, if you missed it, make sure you go back to the last live and make sure you get that Kiki update, okay? Because that was amazing. I went back and watched it. That thing was actually kind of funny. It was kind of fun. It wasn't fun when it happened, but it was funny with the story and all that. So I that was a good time. Good time. Let's see. Who else do I see here? There we go. My man Angel's in the building. What is up? Good to see you. Jamal, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. IMAX, what is up? Formerly known as Boss, what is up? Good to see you. Andrew, my man, what is up? Phil Roy, I see you. Moses, hello. Dre the Prince, good to see you. My man Puma Lee is back in action as well. Dorian, hello. All the way across the pond, Stamina MC, good to see you, brother. And shout out to everyone that has made it out tonight, guys. I really do appreciate it. Couple quick things, and actually let me just get it for you. Shout out to everybody who so far has signed up for the Deadpool and Wolverine watch party. As I mentioned, we are doing that watch party. It is happening on Thursday, July 25th. I did have the sign up date or the sign up form. I posted it on the community tab so you could see it on the timeline, but I'm going to post the link here for anyone that is interested in signing up. Now's the time to do it, because y'all, the seats, let me tell you something, the seats for this watch party, they go by very fast. I'm putting it in the comments right now, so if anyone needs the link to the form, you can sign up. Shout out to a couple people I see that will be attending. I saw Nelson's joining. That'd be dope. I saw Tracy is gonna be there as well, so that's gonna be cool. Listen, a couple of y'all been to a watch party, so some of y'all know how it goes down. This is gonna be like one of the few that I'm ever gonna do. In the meantime, until Marvel really takes it up a notch. But yes, it is going to be a good time. Make sure you sign up. Couple things. Make sure you actually fill out the entire form. If you just fill out some of the form and you don't hit that submit button, you are not on the list. I don't know you exist. I don't know you filled out the form unless you go all the way through and hit the submit button all the way. Make sure it says, thank you for submitting your form, Because I've had some people be like, but E-Man, I said I was going to go. If you're not on the list, I don't know that because the list is all I go off of. So I just want to give y'all that. Just, you got to put the whole list in. Also, the contest for Dune Part 2, that contest is over. So be on the lookout if you were selected as a winner. I don't select them. It's actually randomly selected. So if you did fill out the form, be on the lookout in the mail. You might be getting something because it's going to be coming straight from the studio. It's not coming from me. So just FYI, if y'all see something, it's for me, but not really me, but you know why you got it. Okay. All right. Let's see. I got a couple comments. I didn't even look at these yet. So let's see. Oh, if these are even relevant. Okay. All right. Let's see. Anthony, you got your competition. All right. Hey, good luck to you. Shout out. Thank you so much for the support. JN, happy Friday, E-Fam, E-Man. That Steve Harvey, Mr. Sinister meme, bruh, had my cubicle laughing out loud at work. Listen, it was funny to me when we talked about it during the live. That was also pretty funny. So yeah, I get you on that. Let's see. All right, Anthony, I do see the chats. I want to thank you first of all for that. I don't want to keep doing the whole Drake Kendrick thing. That was a one-time thing, so I do appreciate him. Thank you so much. I heard the verses, but that's not really something I want to keep on going back to. So thank you so much for your support. I do appreciate you, brother. Trust me, I really do. Let's see, but feel free to leave a comment. Let me just put it that way. Feel free to leave a comment on the replay, and then if I have time, I'll respond that way, if that makes sense. So we could do that. But thank you so much for the support. I do appreciate you. Let's see, Daniel, what you got here? It's been way too long, E-Fam, but I'm back. Also, major life news. My wife gave birth to our baby girl at the beginning of this month. Congratulations, Daniel D and Mrs. Daniel D to that. Man, oh man, that is fantastic news. Good stuff to both of y'all. I wish y'all all the sleep. Okay, I wish y'all get all the sleep that you can get because good luck. But thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. All right, let's get into this. We do have a couple things that we do have to jump into. Let me just this is a quick one. I don't know if y'all actually watched this show or not. I haven't, but in case anybody has, Walker has been canceled by the CW after 4 seasons. Have any of y'all watched Walker? Texas Ranger reboot, Chuck Norris made it popular, and then now apparently I didn't even know it was still going. I thought it was canceled after the first season, to be honest with you. But after season 4, that's it. So I don't know. Y'all care? Anybody? Yes? No? Okay. Well, whatever. But shout out to the people that watched it. That show's done with. Sorry. I got some thank yous I got to give to my man Sean Evans. Thank you so much for the $15 Cash App. Appreciate you, brother. Sending some love right back. And to my man Terrence, thank you so much for the $10 Cash App. For the Replay Gang. I appreciate you, and shout out to the Replay Gang for sure. Y'all didn't watch Texas? What? Y'all didn't watch? I'm calling it Texas. It's called Walker. So we have an update. Remember, we talked about the bundle. And this was the bundle. We had a couple bundles going on. There was the Disney, HBO Max, and Hulu bundle, which to me still sounded better by all metrics. But then we also had the Netflix, Peacock, and Apple Plus update, which, you know, like it was okay at least, but because Apple has decent stuff, especially when it comes to sci-fi. They've been doing a good job with sci-fi stuff. Peacock, I have no idea what to even recommend on there. It's not something I check for. And of course, Netflix is still number one. It's got all the content. Yeah, that's great. But we talked about the fact that they were bundling everything. And now we're trying to figure out like how much is all this going to cost? Because they said that it was going to be cheaper compared to if you got everything separately. Okay, cool. But now it looks like we actually got some pricing for what this bundle is going to be like. It says here that it's going to be $15 per month. And that's a discount of at least 35% compared with the price of services purchased separately. Which this has Peacock and 40 free ad-supported streaming TV channels for $30 per month versus $20 per month without them. So it's important here to know that this is the one with ad support. So the ad-supported Peacock, which is going to be $5.99 per month, it's going to go up. Let's see, $7.99 in July. Netflix Basic with ads of $6.99, and standard Apple TV Plus is $9.99. But you're getting all of that for $15 with ads. That's not bad. Like if you don't mind ads, it's not a bad deal. It's basically $5 per month per streaming outlet. So it's not for me. I don't like ads like that. If I watch Netflix with some ads, I'm just leaving. Like I can't do it. I'm too spoiled. I understand. But if you're probably coming into this like just off the cuff, I don't think that's a bad deal, you know. Now, just so you know, there is a prerequisite. You do have to be a Comcast customer. Now, I don't believe that you have to have Comcast cable, but you do at least need to have Comcast Xfinity. So you need to at least have their internet. So if you have their internet, then you qualify for this super streamer bundle or whatever. And that's where you get it. So you're basically going to have to pay for their internet, and then you will get the entry level with ads version of each one of Netflix, Peacock, and Apple. And there you go. It's an extra $15. So I don't know. Like, this doesn't sound too bad. Like, if I was starting off, if I didn't have my kids and family and everybody else watching stuff, I don't know. This might be kind of interesting, but y'all let me know. Does this sound like something that you'd be interested in taking on and paying for? Does this sound like something, maybe it's too much? I don't know. Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Kiki, what you got? Anybody in here watch Bridgerton? My wife does. I watched 4 episodes of like 2 seasons, and I just couldn't keep up. It just didn't capture me. Like, it was okay. No, I watched the one with the princess, with the queen. When they did the prequel with the queen, I watched that one. But I didn't. And I watched 1 episode when season 1 of the regular Bridgerton came out, and I watched 2 or 3 episodes with the queen, and that's it. So I don't know. Are y'all liking Bridgerton so far? Is it keeping up that same energy? If it is, let me know. Feel free. I haven't really seen them, but yeah, I don't know. By the way, you know what? I changed my mind because I'm allowed to do that. To Anthony, because you've been a consistent person, and only because of the consistency, I am going to go back to your questions a little bit later. I do want to make it clear, though, to anybody, everybody. This is not just for Anthony. I do have full discretion on what gets promoted on this channel or not. So I want to make this clear for people. Just because you send in support does not mean you're buying attention. Okay, I want to make that clear. You're not buying your time to be seen. I still get final decision, okay? And it's never anything personal, but I am going to make an exception this time. So just want to let y'all know that. But I'm going to save that for the end because it is completely unrelated. So I'll save that for the end. All right. So here's something else that was kind of interesting. Have y'all seen Dexter? So Dexter was a show back on Showtime that it starred Michael C. Hall. And the basic premise was a serial killer who works for the police department, and they go ahead and kill other serial killers. I remember when the season came out, I was like, yo, this idea felt fresh. It felt original. It felt different. I liked it. Now, to be fair, Dexter had some high points and some low points. Like the season with the Trinity Killer with John Lithgow. And he won an Emmy for that too, by the way. That season was fantastic. But I feel as though Dexter was kind of like every other season was great. And the seasons in between were kind of like, not so great. But overall, Dexter was a really good show. Overall. They kind of lost me on the last season because I didn't really like how they went about it. You know, I'm not going to spoil nothing, but the whole thing with him and his sister, it was kind of weird. Yeah, it just didn't do it for me. And the sister, I didn't really like her too much either. Like the actress, I didn't like how she was portrayed, but either way, I enjoyed Dexter. Let's just make that clear. But I can't believe I missed this news because apparently it was reported last year. But did y'all know we're actually getting a prequel to Dexter? And now we have the cast that's been announced of who's going to play in this prequel of Dexter. And here it is. Y'all might recognize at least one face with Christian Slater, but we have basically our new Dexter, Dexter's daddy, and the sister. And it says here the Dexter prequel series is at Paramount Plus with Showtime has found its new leads. Patrick Gibson on the left, Christian Slater, and Molly Brown. All right. And it's going to be called Dexter Original Sin. Gibson is going to play Dexter. Slater is going to play Harry. And Brown is going to play Deborah. It's going to be a 10-episode prequel. It is going to be set in 1991, 15 years before the events of Dexter. And this is what the log line is basically what it states about the show. It says it follows Dexter as he transitions from student to avenging serial killer. When his bloodthirsty urges can't be ignored any longer, Dexter must learn to channel his inner darkness with the guidance of his father, Harry. He adopts a code designed to help him find and kill people who deserve to be eliminated from society without getting on law enforcement's radar. This is a particular challenge for young Dexter as he begins a forensics internship at the Miami Metro Police Department. I'm not mad at this. Now, I don't know if this is going to be as good as the original one. I like the casting of Christian Slater. I like that because you get a little name recognition, just a little bit. So I like that. I don't know who Patrick Gibson is, who's playing Dexter. Listen, as long as he can play the role, that's fine. You just got to play a weird serial killer. Fine. Wait, what was the guy named? Y'all help me out. What was the black guy's name? The black guy, was it Dobbs? Or what was the black guy's name in Dexter? Surprise, mother effer. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Big swole black guy. What was his name? I forget. I think it was Dobbs. Was it Dobbs? Stokes. Sergeant. Was it Stokes? No, Dokes. It was Dokes, right? Dokes. Okay, I think we're good on Dokes. Will we see Dokes? Listen, I just want to know, are we going to see Dokes and is he going to have hair? I want to see if Dokes shows up with some hair. I think that would be hilarious. Just imagine Dokes with some hair. And the first time he sees Dexter, he's just like, I don't like you. Like, I just want him to show up and to cuss. Y'all can keep the same actor because black don't crack. I actually just went back and watched that scene. Again, I won't spoil it about what happens to Dokes. But his interactions with Dexter have always been hilarious to me because he just never liked this dude from the jump, always gave Dexter a hard time. And I would love to see if he comes back and we start to see him be like, yeah, what's up, intern? How you doing? And he starts to see the weird stuff build up with Dexter. Come on, man. Y'all got to have my man Dokes in there. Please have him back in there. That will be, I would say, something to get my interest. And I would love for the original actor to come back. I would love for him to come back. That would be great. But if that happens, I'll be in it. I'll be fine with it. So bring that back. But anyway, y'all let me know. How do you feel about a Dexter prequel? Is this something that you're interested in? Maybe you missed out. Maybe you missed the boat on the Dexter series. Do you think this could be something that could get you interested in watching Dexter? Again, I do think Dexter overall is a good show. And I would say that it is worth watching. But does a prequel help or maybe not? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right. No! I just closed out what I needed to talk about. Dang it. All right, give me a sec. God, why did I do that? Okay. Hold on. Dang, I hate it when I do that. Okay, well, there ain't really much to talk about anyway. Okay, let's move on. Star Trek. So I know I got some Trekkies in here, some fans that like Star Trek or whatever. Now listen, when the first movie came out, and I'm talking about the reboot, I'm not going into William Shatner territory. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about with Chris Pine. When that movie came out, I was like, you know what? This is solid. I have not been a huge Star Trek fan, where I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that I happened to start watching Star Wars more than I did Star Trek. So I would tune into episodes for Star Trek Next Generation, and it was cool, but it just wasn't enough for me to like get super hooked. But the movie, when it came out in like what, 2012, I don't know, whenever the Chris Pine movie came out, I thought it was solid. Now that second movie with Benedict Cumberbatch, Khan, nah, that was whack. Nah, I couldn't. Nah, that went downhill. And then now when they did their third little movie, with the zebra looking alien chick, it was like, all right, it was all right. Wasn't great, but it was all right. But their last movie wasn't until 2016. So it's been a while since they've had a film. Now, of course, they've had different TV shows, Picard, and obviously different spin-off shows, which from what I've heard have been very good. Y'all have told me that these Star Trek shows are very good. But in terms of a movie, it looks like they're making a comeback. And I think we've talked about the fact that they had this in the works. But here's where it gets a little interesting. Because now they've added a new producer on deck. Y'all know who this is? This is, in case y'all didn't know, Simon Kinberg. I have spoken about Simon Kinberg in the past. And if you recall, the way I fondly recall and count and refer to Simon Kinberg is as Bizarro Kevin Feige. And the reason why I do that is because he was the guy that was in charge of almost all of the X-Men movies from Fox. His track record is probably the definition of spotty. Let us go to the track record. Simon Kinberg has got some hits on his list. My man has done, and we're going to go only as what he's done as a producer. So he's got some hits, but when I tell you he's got some dips, I'm not playing. So he did Jumper. Okay. X-Men First Class, not bad. He did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Yikes. Elysium. Okay. X-Men Days of Future Past. Okay. Let's Be Cops. No. Cinderella. Meh. Chappie. Meh. Okay. Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four. Yeah, we talking about the Michael B. Jordan boo-boo one. Fantastic Four. The Martian. Yes. Deadpool. Yes. X-Men Apocalypse. Logan. Yes. Murder on the Orient. Mission Control. I don't know what that is. Star Wars Rebels. I like that. Deadpool 2. Yeah. Cool. The Gifted. Cool. Dark Phoenix. You did Dark Phoenix. Legion. Yes. Twilight Zone. Not so much, bro. Not so much. New Mutants. Death on the Nile. Haunting in Venice. Invasion. Did y'all watch that? I didn't. Lift. I didn't see that. 5.5 on IMDb. Not good. Sugar. So far, so good. So when I tell you this guy is the definition of peaks and valleys, it's like for as good as something can be with him, is just as bad as it can get. Now, the reason why I am apprehensive about his track record is more so because his decision-making of what he did with the X-Men. Now, he also decided to direct some of those very, very bad movies. He did do that. I didn't like that he was the decision maker to push Mystique or Jennifer Lawrence's character in all those X-Men movies. I didn't like the idea, even though I know the reasoning, I didn't like the idea of pushing Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, in the forefront and forcing him to be the main character all the time. That's Hollywood thinking, right? Oh, y'all like this? Oh, Jennifer Lawrence is hot. Forget what the X-Men is all about. Let's push the main actor and not the character. Those are the type of things that make me worry when it comes to Simon Kinberg. I feel like he falls into the Hollywood way of thinking too much. And that's where I'm cautious about rolling the dice with him on Star Trek. Now, there's a very good chance, because of his track record, he might roll, a winning hand, and Star Trek could be back. But there's also a chance it could be a bomb. So I don't know. Luckily, I'm not invested in Star Trek like that. I don't have to live with that gamble on my heart. But y'all let me know. What do you think about Simon Kinberg coming in, taking over for Star Trek? Does this give you hope? Does it not? Whatever you think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Diddy, what you got? So X-Men and Star Trek just traded directors? Pretty much. Pretty much, and we'll get to that later. But yeah, pretty much. Well, traded producers. But yeah, pretty much. What else do we have? We got the first look. So we talked about this before with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And he is starting to take his career a little more seriously on the acting side. He wants to do more dramatic roles, and he is now going to jump into an A24 movie. We talked about this before, called The Smashing Machine. Now, The Smashing Machine is about MMA fighter Mark Kerr, and he was a two-time UFC heavyweight tournament champion and World Vale Tudo Championship tournament winner. Over the course of his career, he won over 24 MMA titles. So I don't follow MMA, so forgive me on that. But it sounds like Mark Kerr was a big deal, at least from that description. It sounds like he was a big deal. So The Rock is clearly going to be playing this. But we got our first look of what The Rock looks like with this role. And here you go. This is it. This is what he looks like. If you can see it nice and clear here, can we get closer? I don't think we can. I don't know. But look, when I first saw this, I'll just say this. I did not recognize him, and all he had was that little face piece, that little hair piece. And I still was like, wait, who is that? That still was like, just that little bit of wig, just that little wig. Hold on, I think I got a better image for y'all that I could pull up. Let's see, do I have it? Let me give it a little close up. Look at that close up, just a little bit more. That I didn't even know that was The Rock. I didn't even know he got the Tyler Perry wig on and everything. I didn't even know that was him. That was pretty spot on, I thought. But I don't even know how Mark Kerr looks like, you know. So, thank you so much. Valet is Valley Tudu. I hope I said that. Tudu. Okay. Thank you for that correction. But this is what Mark Kerr actually looks like. I think I think they got it. I can see it now. I can see it. It's not bad. You know, Mark does kind of look a little like old Rock. You know, he's looking a little Rocky Maivia-ish. With a little, well, that metal, he looked like Kurt Angle here. You know, but I can see it. I can see it now. So I think at least from the makeup side of things, I think they got it. I think they got a winner here. I see it now. I think he might have had to slim down a little bit because, you know, Rock be all like, you know, but I think this is going to be kind of interesting. I'm looking forward to this. This is definitely a project from The Rock that, you know, you have the Sadafi brothers directing this. You know, The Rock I think that when The Rock has good direction, and as long as he's not trying to make this thing cheesy, I think this could be solid. I think it could be. But you guys let me know. What do you think about this first look at The Rock? How do you feel about him playing this role? Are you looking forward to this movie? Are you kind of iffy? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. 60, what you got? I hope the prequel is better than the last season when they brought back the show. When the show brought back trash Dexter Showtime. I'm still waiting for the Yellow Jackets to come back. Yeah, I mean, let's hope, you know, because that season finale, like, I didn't even want to watch it because it just, the whole last season was such a letdown. I didn't even want to finish it, but I know what happens. And I'm just kind of like, I don't care. Like, I just don't care. So, yeah, I think the hope is that it is going to be better. We have to hope for that. But I'm with you on that. Thank you so much. What else we got? Oh, we got a new documentary. All right. So we have a new documentary coming, and to say that this wasn't clearly going to happen would be an understatement. I think back in 2020, not only did we have obviously a pandemic to deal with, but we had what seemed like, and I'm going to say that very clearly, it seemed like we were going to have a cultural racial shift in society. Because not only did we have the pandemic to deal with, but we also had the murder of George Floyd. And when this happened, it was almost like America just woke up and was like, oh my gosh, police brutality is a problem, because we were confronted with 8+ minutes of seeing a man die right in front of our eyes. So with something that, that shocking for some people, because it wasn't shocking for the Black community, let's just be clear. For something like that, you started to see companies all of a sudden supporting Black Lives Matter. You started seeing companies and commercials and all this stuff about diversity, equity, and inclusion. You started to see this wave of, again, what appeared to be a shift, which, by the way, what is it? 4 years later, all of that stuff is going away. 4 years later, they're like, yeah, we was just joking. Nah, DEI, nah, we don't want that no more. So it was nice while it lasted, right? But it's inevitable that something like that impacted culture, no matter where you fall on the side of the aisle, that they were going to make a movie over it. And that's exactly what's happening, because we are now going to get a George Floyd documentary. And it's not just going to be any documentary about George Floyd. The biopic is going to be titled Daddy Changed the World. And this is something that his family is authorizing. It says here that Floyd's daughter, Gianna Floyd, and her mother, Roxy Washington, are involved in the making of this film, serving as executive producers. Gregory R. Anderson, who did Stomp the Yard, will write the screenplay for the movie. I'm sorry, I got this as a docu. It's actually going to be a biopic. And it says here that the film is still in search for a director. And it says here that the biopic will apparently not portray, we don't have a director yet, but the biopic will not portray Floyd as a perfect person, but rather a father with human flaws whose horrific death changed the world. It will not be a traditional biopic, more of a gritty drama of a man and his community thrust into the fiery light of history. So I'll say that I do appreciate that this biopic is not trying to make George Floyd into some sort of perfect person. Because I feel as though that was a narrative that was concocted and manufactured, and in my opinion, abused by certain extreme right-wing folks that wanted to basically undo the attention that was coming in because of what George Floyd's situation brought about. And what I personally appreciate about this, at least this effort, because I haven't seen the movie, is that it was never about George Floyd. It was never about George Floyd being this great guy who that was never the case. It just so happened that George Floyd was another victim of police brutality. That's all. He's one of many other people that have been subject to police brutality. And I want to make this also clear. Police brutality should not be a divisive issue. This should not be an issue of, oh, well, you're woke. Oh, well, you're just right wing. And no, nobody should like police brutality. Police should not be okay with police brutality. Okay. I want y'all to make this clear. Don't let tribalism, don't let, well, I'm on this side of the aisle and I'm on that side. Don't let this confuse you that nobody should like police brutality. I don't care if you white. I don't care if you black. I don't care if you in the middle. Nobody should care in a positive way or take sides on police brutality. The only side you should take is it's not okay. Period. So if this film is actually going to say and focus on, hey, this is just a regular guy. Yeah, he might not be the guy that's a role model, but the situation of police brutality is the actual focus. I'm okay with that. Am I saying that this is going to be a must-watch film? No, because I don't know. I need to see a trailer just like with any other movie. But I do like the fact that it's not trying to create and feed into some unnecessary narrative that was never the case in the first place. Nobody was looking up to George Floyd and being like, I want to be like him when I grow up. Nobody was saying that. But we were putting a lens on police tactics, police brutality, and police accountability. And that is something I feel like everybody should get around. Everybody should support that. That should not be hard, right? So anyway, I do also like the fact that the family's on board. That's pretty cool. Because, hey, if your loved one is the one that's going to be the focus of it, the least they can do is at least have some say in it. So I do like that too. But anyway, y'all let me know, how do you feel about this George Floyd biopic that's happening? Is this something that you're interested in? Maybe not. Is this something that you feel is needed? Maybe not. Is this something that you're looking forward to? Maybe you are. I don't know. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right. Ooh. All right. I guess we have to talk about this, don't we? Every once in a while, just like with the George Floyd biopic and all that, cultural things will start to intercede and intersect with life and with the entertainment, world. Diddy, Sean Combs. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I think most of us at this point have known that this music mogul has climbed the ladder over the years, been a success for sure. But he's also had a very dark, checkered past. There have been a lot of rumors about him. There have been a lot of, different drama around him, a lot of jokes around him, but wow. And of course, one of the most shocking things that we've seen is the unfortunate and disgusting and disturbing video of him physically assaulting Cassie back in 2016. CNN dropped the video. A lot of people have seen it. And a lot of that has spurred on. That's why he was doing that apology that also went viral and so on. But one thing that has also been very consistent has been 50 Cent. 50 Cent has been on Diddy's bumper for years. This man has not allowed Diddy to have one moment of rest. And after this bidding war for a documentary by 50 Cent, we have a winner, and the winner is Netflix. Netflix has agreed to purchase 50 Cent's documentary. And it says here 50's multi-part documentary about the sexual assault allegations against Diddy was purchased by Netflix. And have y'all heard the title? The title is called Diddy Do It. Diddy Do It. When I tell you 50 Cent is a marketing genius, where do I even go with this? First of all, let me just say, when it comes to 50 Cent, when you see the evisceration that he did to Ja Rule for almost a decade, and this is before social media, I would never in my life want to get in any kind of battle with 50 Cent. I don't ever want to be on 50 Cent's bad side for anything. Whatever 50 Cent has an argument with me about, I'm just going to concede and say, yup, 50, you right. I'm sorry. No. Don't owe this man money. Because if you owe him money, you never going to hear the end of it until you just pay up. Don't ever cross this man with his TV shows, because he will threaten you and troll you to the point where you just renew his stuff. Stars. Do not offer to take this man shopping. Diddy, 50 was on Breakfast Club, and I remember him talking about when he met Diddy. Diddy was like, can I take you shopping? Let me take you shopping. 50 never let that go. This is the king troll of all trolls, because he will not let go until you're done. Ja Rule had not even made a song in like a decade. Ja Rule didn't even come back. And this man, 50 Cent, when he heard the fact that Ja Rule was still alive, when he heard Ja Rule was going to have a concert, he bought out the first 10 rows of the concert, the first 10 rows or something, just so that Ja Rule could open up his concert with empty seats in the front. When you have somebody that is so petty that they're willing to pay their own money just to troll you, that is a sign to run the other way. That is a sign that this person has nothing else to live for except for your downfall. When he trolled Floyd Mayweather for years, I'm sorry. When he challenged Floyd Mayweather to read one page of a Harry Potter book, or he was going to donate tens of thousands of dollars to a charity. Just to read one page of a Harry Potter book. I mean, he's so mean. He's just a mean guy. I'm sorry. That was one of the funniest things I had ever seen. Because y'all know Floyd be struggling. Y'all know Floyd's struggling. But that was funny. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Listen, 50 Cent is not somebody to play with. But at the same time, with 50 Cent, I feel like he's a predator. He's an apex predator. When he comes for somebody, you already know there's something there. There's something there. And y'all know what? Listen, he been getting on Diddy for a minute. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just repeating what I've seen this man do. He had that man Jay-Z's name out there too. He been kind of sort of putting Jay-Z's name out there too. So is there another documentary coming? Listen. Cat Williams said 2024 was going to be the year that everything was going to be revealed. All lies were going to come to the light. Diddy has put himself out there. He's come out and said, I didn't do nothing. I'm tired of this. Oh, I'm going to fight for my innocence. And then all of a sudden, the truth was revealed. And in the midst of all that, 50 was right there. 50 didn't just show up after the video came out. No, 50 been there consistently calling out Diddy. And now Jay-Z's name's also in there. As far as this documentary, though, you better believe this will be the number one thing on Netflix for weeks. You better believe it. 50 even said on his Instagram, he was like, yo, because of that whole Cassie thing, he's like, do we need more episodes? This man already thinking of a season 2. Now, don't dismay or don't downplay the power of a documentary, because think of it like this. R. Kelly was out here doing his business until that R. Kelly documentary came out on Lifetime. And what happened? A whole bunch of people started coming up out the woodworks. A whole bunch of allegations started coming up. A whole bunch of trials and, charges started coming up. Is a similar landslide going to happen? Because documentaries wake up a lot of people. A lot of people start to get a lot of courage after certain documentaries. So, this is going to absolutely be number one on Netflix, because you already know Netflix is messy. And I mean that in a respectful way. Like, by messy, I'm saying Netflix likes drama. They're not afraid of controversial things. This is the same Netflix that put up Cuties. Remember that, with the little girls that were dancing, all provocative and stuff? Yeah, they still stood by that. This is the same Netflix that put up Dave Chappelle, even though he was dragging, no pun intended, the trans community. This is the same Netflix that, they will put up Good Times, that trashy animated show. They'll put that up. So Netflix don't care. If it's going to get eyeballs, they're going to put it up. That documentary is going to be a number one hit on Netflix. Not just for one day, like Madam Web, but no, it's going to be a number one hit for real. And the mere fact that this was a bidding war, okay? I mean, I don't know if they listed who else was in this war. Let me see if... Okay, it doesn't say who was in this. So I'm just going to assume. I don't have any information, but I'm just going to assume if Warner Brothers, Amazon, Stars, if all these other companies was like, yo, we want that 50, we want that. My man 50 got paid. Paid. You might not like him. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But you have to respect this man's business savvy. Because this man, I know if they could pay Dave Chappelle $20+ million for one special, you don't think 50 about to get a bankroll for this multi-part documentary on this already hot topic? Not to mention, Diddy just got another case. Or I'm sorry, another allegation. Another model, I forget what her name is, something. Another model just came out after seeing the Cassie video. She's coming forward with charges, with a lawsuit, potentially. As long as Diddy stays in the news, that's great news for 50 Cent and his documentary. That's all. So, y'all let me know, what do you think about this Diddy Do It documentary that is now coming to Netflix? Are you interested? Are you going to watch it? Do you not care? Do you think Diddy did it? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Kiki, whew, now I see why he was shot 9 times. Listen, I don't want to talk to nobody that was shot 9 times, because I feel like you got a new perspective on life, and I don't want to get I don't want to mess with none of that. None of it. Thank you so much for that. Talented One. I hope this has very little to do with George Floyd, the man. That is not fair and will completely shift the narrative. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't mind them talking about him, the man per se. I just want them to be honest. That's it. And I think that's kind of what we want in any biopic, right? I don't mind if they're like, yeah, you know what? This is the guy who, and I don't know this, but maybe he had legal trouble. Maybe he wasn't the perfect father. Maybe he had substance abuse issues. Whatever that is, that's fine. But none of those things justify what happened to him by the police. And I think that's the most important thing. It kind of reminds me of Fruitvale Station, where it wasn't about how Oscar Grant was a perfect father. It's about the fact that he didn't deserve his fate. That's the point. Because if you start getting into that mentality of, oh, well, you know, that person used to be in jail, and that person, they were selling illegal CDs, and they did drugs. So that means that they should get their neck stepped on and they suffocate and die. Oh, that means that they should get chokehold and, you know, die rather than facing regular prosecution. Like, what are you really saying? What is your mentality really saying about yourself, that because people are flawed, they therefore deserve death on the spot? So I don't mind them focusing on him as a person, if it does help people understand that it still did not justify what happened. I hope that happens. Anyway, thank you so much for that. Chris, what you got? Are there any black biopics where the star is a saint? I don't think there's many. I don't know. I mean, but like, who is a saint though? Like, are there any black biopics where people are a saint? Like, forget just black biopics, but like just biopics in general. Because even that Elvis one, I was like, he ain't no saint. I mean, they could have gone a little deeper with the whole dealing with the little girls thing or whatever. But, you know, to me, and I could be wrong, at least I can't think of nothing right on the spot. Oh, who'd you bring up? 42. 42 was a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Because even James Brown was a complicated man. He was a complicated man, but you know, that you know, I don't know. Was there any others besides that? Malcolm X, maybe. But even Malcolm Malcolm wasn't a saint because he was a pimp and he went to jail, you know. But again, I don't have a problem with that, right? Like, I don't have a problem with showing the flaws in people. And if you're going to show the flaws, you also show the good stuff, right? I feel like that's always been an issue with most historical portrayals of people in general, where especially founding fathers, oh, look at George Washington. Oh, the great guy, first president. So wonderful. He owned some slaves. You know, oh, Thomas Jefferson. Oh, one of the founding fathers. And yet he raped slaves. He owned slaves. He considered us less than human. Go read the Virginia letters, by the way. Yes, he's a problem. Like, tell the whole story. That's all I'm saying. Like, even Martin Luther King, there was a couple different portrayals of him having infidelity and stuff. Listen, Nobody needs these people to be perfect. I don't, because they're humans. I don't look up to no humans like that. That's not, no. So it's okay. Show the good, show the bad. I'm okay with that. But anyway, thank you for that, Chris. Alib Cat also said you got to tell Diddy no. You definitely got to tell him no. You have, listen, he ain't even the only one saying that. Other people are coming out and saying, yes, I had to tell him no. It is what it is. Wait, what is this? So Majors runs away 5 blocks from a woman and gets charged, but Diddy stomps a woman, apologizes from his villa, sipping pina coladas. What a world. Well, this isn't an apples to apples comparison, unfortunately. I mean, for one, Diddy's event happened in 2016, and the statute of limitations prevents the federal prosecution from going after him. So, and by the way, the federal courts, they did, or I want to say the district attorney, they posted that they couldn't do it, which means that they would have gone after him the same way they went after Jonathan Majors. So if it had happened later within the statute of limitations, they would have gone after Diddy. Now, I would say I have seen legal analysts say that they can use the video from the Cassie situation in a future case against Diddy. They can't prosecute him for that specific crime, but they can use that in evidence similar to how they did with Jonathan Majors and other things to paint a case against them. So yeah, that it's a statute of limitations thing, but that's not an apples to apples comparison. Like, we can't say like, oh, this is fair, but that's just the laws. But I do think that if it happened at any other time, he definitely would have they would have came after him for sure. Okay, let's see. We got Kraven update. I'm sorry, but we did. Kraven, it's a Sony movie. It's still happening. They did move the dates around a couple times. I believe it got moved over. We were supposed to get Kraven back in August of last year, I believe. But that didn't happen. So since we didn't get it back then, it got pushed over, especially with the strikes and all of that, but they pushed it over to December. So they're moving this over now, according to Sony. This was a strategic move because they wanted to avoid the competition with other rated R movies. Okay. And they gave another interesting reason for why Kraven is coming to theaters in the Christmas time, which I thought was worth talking about. And it comes from, this is coming on December 13th, by the way. This is coming from Kraven producer Matt Tolmack, whatever. It says here, Kraven moved to Christmas because we're excited about it, and Christmas is the best release period there is when you get people with time to go back to the movies over and over again. That was a real reflection of how the studio felt about the movie. We're really excited, but that's a great move that reflects just the feeling about the movie. Let me get this straight. One, you wanted to move this rated R movie to Christmas time to avoid other rated R movies. But you also realize that during Christmas time, when families can go out, families are probably going to go see family-oriented movies. let's dismiss that. Y'all thought people were going to come and see Kraven over and over again? This was, as he said, a real reflection of how the studio felt. The same studio that felt as though it was a good idea to re-release Morbius in theaters because it was Morbin time. The same studio that thought it was a good idea to rehire the people in charge of their flop of a movie of Morbius and put them in on Madam Web. The same studio? That's how y'all trust. That was the feelings that y'all had? The same studio that took the people that were in charge of Venom 2, that was atrocious and bombed, and y'all made the writer of Venom 2 the director of Venom 3, and you had Tom Hardy be the writer of both movies. Same studio? At what point do y'all realize y'all can't even trust yourselves? I'm just saying, like, what are you looking back at to say we can trust our decision making? Listen, let me give you a little practical example. I play fantasy sports, right? I like to play fantasy basketball and fantasy football. It could be easy for me to sit here and say, well, because I know fantasy, I'm going to go and do fantasy baseball. But I don't really watch baseball. I've played it back in the day, but I don't really watch baseball like that. If I go put my money into playing fantasy baseball and I lose, and then the next year I try it again and I lose, and the next year I try it again, I put more money into it and I lose. Why would I keep doing this? What did they say the definition was? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Why do y'all keep thinking that y'all gonna get a different result with Kraven compared to the failure of Venom 2, the failure with Morbius, and the failure with Madam Web? What y'all drinking? I just want to know what y'all drinking. Because something is in that Kool-Aid where as a collective, you guys feel as though you keep heading in the right direction. Who or what are you listening to? Now, here's one of the reasons why I tell y'all I really appreciate what Marvel Studios does in comparison to other studios. Marvel Studios, as we've talked about multiple times, has fallen short. They have missed the mark. They have had some bombs. Okay, we know that. We've acknowledged that. Phase 4 overall was a miss. But what was important was they also acknowledged that. Kevin Feige was like, yo, if you couldn't tell that Marvel's been slipping for the last couple years, you've been living under a rock. I like to hear that because that lets me know that they know that their stuff hasn't been smelling very good and they need to go wash up. I haven't heard nothing like that from Sony. Not one time. I haven't heard anything, even on the rumor side, that Sony is even aware that their track record with these Spider-Man less movies are not good. They're just not good. I still believe the first Venom was a fluke. It was a fluke. because we like Venom. He's the closest thing we can get to an actual Spider-Man. So, of course, that initial movie was going to get the spark. But when you look at the track record, everything else has been going downhill. Quality, terrible. Writing, bad. Directing, atrocious. Acting, laughable. And not 1 ounce of reflection or honesty, or maybe it's delusion, I don't know, about what happened in the past. Now, if Sony came out and said, you know what? Listen, we saw what happened in the past. We made some tweaks. We made some changes. We believe that Kraven is going to be different. And here are the different things that we did. Okay. Because I don't expect perfection. I don't expect Sony to be like, we're going to give you hit after hit after. I don't expect that from nobody, not even Marvel. But I do expect transparency and some sort of honesty to the point of, if your product has been sucking, you're not going to be short-sighted to the point where you're just going to keep on doing the same old thing. Because now, and I've said this even with Madam Web, this feels like trolling. It feels like trolling. Don't sit here and tell me that you have this feeling we're going to watch this movie over and over again, because it's kind of coming off very similar to when DC was like, hey, The Flash, one of the greatest superhero movies ever. Can't wait till y'all see it. Just be quiet. Be quiet. Now, if Kraven ends up being great, cool. And if people do end up going back and seeing it multiple times, hey, now come on out, say it with your chest. Yep, we had a feeling that this was going to happen. That's why we moved the dates. Cool. Hey, nobody could check you because the results will be there. But if Kraven flops, if Kraven comes out with terrible reviews from fans and critics, you don't see the hole that you digging for yourself? You don't see that this ain't the promotion that you think it should be? How are y'all feeling about Kraven the Hunter? Is this a movie you're excited for? How do the comments from Sony producers and execs, how does that make you feel about Kraven? Are you super excited to get your tickets for Kraven when it comes out? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Listen, let me just say that, you know, I've been in this movie game for a minute now. Dang, almost for a decade. Jeez, I'm old now. It's some things that you could just have a feeling about. Kraven ain't it. You know, Fall Guy, that was not it. Not saying they were bad movies. I'm just saying that certain things you can kind of get a feeling for. And I don't feel this. Like, I told y'all from the jump, Deadpool has the possibility of being a $1 billion movie. First movie made around 700 million, something like that, 600 million, which is great for a rated R movie. Second movie made around 800 million. You bring back Hugh Jackman in this, oh, Deadpool could make $1 billion. And from day one, when them tickets went on sale, you started to see people actually buying tickets in advance for a movie that don't come out for another 2 months. I already told y'all about my watch party. Deadpool could make $1 billion. I've never heard anything about like that. Like, I've never heard anything like that with a Sony Spider-Man related, Spider-Man-less movie. Never heard, oh, tickets are going through the roof. Uh-oh, pre-sale tickets are tracking very high. I never heard that. So I don't know what Sony has been watching. I don't know what they have seen with Kraven that makes them think this is it. This is going to kill him. I don't even know if a Spider-Man cameo can undo the damage that's been done. I don't even think it has that. I don't know. We'll see. Kat, what you got? Because of Sony, Kraven's going to be a bad movie. I mean, listen, I don't want to say that it will be, but I don't have enough evidence to say that it won't be, if that makes sense. I'm an optimist. I like to believe in movies learning from the past and trying to get better. I like to believe that with every film. But Sony gives me less and less reason to believe that because I don't see them even recognizing their own faults. I'm reading all the interviews from the executives and stuff. I don't see that y'all even recognize that the ship is sinking. I don't know. Can't call it, but it does give me trust issues. Chris, what you got? Thank you so much. Tips when marketing Kraven. It's going to fail. So let's double down, all or nothing, etc. Hey, you know what? What was it? Madam Web was number one. Not on iTunes. Not on iTunes because it's not Black Adam. But it was number one on Netflix for like 24 hours. I don't think it was number one on Netflix because it was just so good. People wanted to see Madam Web the same way that they slow down and want to see a car crash on the expressway. Heard this movie was bad. Let me see what happened. Let me find out how bad is it. That does not translate to people loved it. So it could be maybe not a bad marketing ploy to be like, listen, maybe y'all shouldn't see, maybe they should play some reverse psychology. Hey, y'all, don't go see Kraven. Nah, y'all don't want to see this movie. It's so bad. Guys, Kraven is the worst movie in the world. It's the worst thing I had ever seen. Y'all don't want to see that. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. You don't want to see this movie. Oh, it's a train wreck. Listen, what else you got to lose? I say try it. Like, I'd be that guy in the boardroom saying, like, y'all, we had a bad track record. Can we just go ahead and tell them the movie sucked now and just play on it? What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Sony, seriously, you ain't got nothing to lose. Go out there, tell people the movie sucks. Hold on, because I might need to. No, I don't want to say that because then they go ban me. They don't invite me to nothing anyway. Sony, tell everybody that Kraven is going to suck. And when you tell them that it's going to suck, don't nobody have any reason to sit here and doubt you because of your track record. And guess what? People might be like, you know what? This is the first time Sony seems to be being honest. Let's go see how bad it is. And here's the funny thing. The way people's expectations work, they'll be like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. And I always tell y'all, wasn't that bad still means that it was bad. It's literally in what you said. It's still bad. But maybe people will like it. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a difference maker. I don't know. Good point, Chris. Thank you so much for that. Okay. I'll get to that because we're getting to that topic. Fast 11. Y'all movie. Y'all franchise. I don't think that it needs to be emphasized the amount of disappointment and the downward trajectory of the Fast franchise. Started off cool. Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, them early 2000s. Been here for almost 20 years now. Great. I love the first movie. I love the second movie. Even Tyrese. Ejectocito. I was with it. Third movie. Tokyo Drift. Fourth movie. It's getting back. It's all right. Nothing great. Fifth movie. Y'all brought in The Rock? Fifth one was probably one of my favorites. Sixth movie. Solid. Getting a little cheesy. Just a little cheesy, but solid. Fast 7. Y'all pushing it. But I believe that's when Paul Walker passed. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Fast 7 is when Paul Walker passed. A lot of us were sitting here like, man, we was hurt by it. They did probably one of the best tributes to him that I've seen a film take care of a passing actor. Fast 8. Everybody became Marvel characters at that point. Fast 9. Trash. Gutter booty trash. Now, that was during the pandemic. Same time, no excuse. Bad. Fast X. Just as bad. It was just like, what are y'all doing? Like, are y'all even taking this seriously? Just bad. All of that brings us to Fast 11, where supposedly, and I still don't know if I believe this is supposed to be the final film in the entire franchise. Now, we've seen cast members be held hostage. We've seen directors dip last minute. We've heard how the cast just started recording themselves just for no real, without a director even present. But one thing that I've always said was an issue with the franchise is how far off they've gone compared to where it started. And thank you. We also had the spinoff of Hobbs and Shaw that went nowhere and it was pointless. But the whole genre started with street racing. And that was one of the reasons why I loved it, was because I'm not familiar with street racing. They brought us into this culture. So I was like, yo, this is great. But then it turned into some world hopping spy espionage thing that makes no sense. So when it comes to Fast 11, we had one of the top execs at NBC or whoever weigh in on this. And apparently we're going back to basics. Because it says here Fast and Furious future movies may bring the franchise back to the streets. This is coming from NBC Universal Studio Group Chairman and Chief Content Creator Donna Langle. She said here, where we go next is a question. We may pivot another time and bring it back to the streets of LA and maybe make it a more intimate story. Okay. We getting back to racing? We getting back to the small story about family? We not world hopping? I'm gonna call Cap. Y'all know why I gotta call Cap. Because we gotta go to the receipts. In case y'all haven't heard, and maybe you recall this, it sounds eerily familiar. Why does it sound familiar? Because we heard this last time. Yes, back in March 2023, Fast X revives a franchise staple that's been missing from recent films. Y'all remember Fast X director Louis Leterrier spoke about wanting to bring the Fast and Furious series back to its roots by including the old school street race in it. Y'all remember that race? for 5 minutes where Vin Diesel raced against Jason Momoa's character Dante Reyes. Y'all remember that? Remember when they tried to go back to the roots for 5 minutes and then they went back and jumped into space anyway? I don't believe y'all. I can't. I cannot believe y'all. Your track record has already told me that y'all don't even understand. Y'all are too far gone. It's not even about what you understand. You're too far gone. Y'all have this family all bundled up with this super spy agency with all these infinite resources doing Mission Impossible type stuff on a daily. You got 4 computer hackers. I don't know why y'all need all of them. Like, what y'all finna do back in the only thing y'all gonna do in LA is do a barbecue cookout. That's all y'all finna do. Y'all not about to get back to no basics. Y'all not about to do no street races. What are you talking about? And here's the thing, even if they do a franchise, outside of this, do some spinoffs, I don't care. I don't care. After 11 films, I'm done. I'm good. I don't want to see no more fast nothing. Just the closest y'all might get my attention. The closest is if you can come up with unique racing concepts. So even though Fast 3 was not very good, I did like the idea of drifting. Because I was like, oh, what's drifting? That's interesting. It's not just about going fast and, doing the speed at one time and, hitting the turbo at the right time. Oh, it actually has different strategy. If y'all introduce a new element like that, maybe I'll get into it. But right now, I'm tapped out. Like, I don't, not for me. But y'all let me know, what do you think about the Fast franchise going back to basics again? Do you believe him? Do you think that this is going to happen? Does this help inspire you to maybe want to watch the movies? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, Ill, what you got? If there was a Fast and Furious reboot, who would be your director and writer? Mine would be directed by George Miller, written by James Mangold. I would not. I actually kind of like that. And this is kind of off the cuff, so I couldn't think of nobody right now. But if you can give me, matter of fact, I'd rather have. I wouldn't mind if James Mangold wrote and directed it. I wouldn't mind that. But I like George Miller from a visual standpoint. I think he would do a masterful job visually with it. But I do like James Mangold's his writing. So the fact that if Miller doesn't have a problem with using Mangold, in his script, I think that'd be nice. I think that would work. So I like that. I'm gonna just go with your idea right there. I think that's a killer combo. Good stuff. Thank you so much for that. What'd you say? Would I return if they created Fast and Furious meets Mad Max movie? I don't know. It depends. Now, if George Miller and Mangold come together, maybe. Sure. Hey, throwing Michael B. Jordan in there. Sure, why not? But again, I need a better concept. Like, y'all got to give me a good concept. You have to get me with something more about than just family. That's all. Because right now it's like, yo, y'all tired. Y'all are tired. I can't. All right, we got some Marvel updates. This is pretty much all going to be Marvel now, because they just had a big old week full of interviews and stuff. Okay, we could talk about this. Luke Cage. Y'all know Mike Coulter, aka Luke Cage, stars as Luke Cage in the series. And I definitely enjoyed him. I thought that he was pretty good in the role. I like the series overall. Shout out to Cottonmouth, aka with Mahershala Ali, one of the better villains that they've had that was cut off too soon. But I will say that I like what Luke Cage brings to the table, especially with his interactions with Iron Fist. I've always thought that that was a necessary and nice clash of two different worlds and stuff. But the future of Luke Cage has been in question, mainly because one, we've had zero announcements that they're even bringing Luke Cage back, and two, we don't know what's going on with Mike Coulter, the character, the actor. Will he come back? Will he not? Now, I've told y'all before that when I had got a chance to meet him, he did mention that, doing Luke Cage is physically tiring. Like, it takes a toll on your body, right? Doing all the action scenes and stuff like that. But compared to his other stuff, like Evil, which is a great show, I got to watch it. I think it just premiered the 4th season. He's like, man, that's easy stuff. It's a lot easier to do the acting versus like the more physical stuff. So his, with the lack of an announcement that Luke Cage is coming back, and with him doing the Evil series, it's kind of like, is Luke Cage ever going to come back? So here's kind of a new updated interview from Mike Coulter, where he kind of talks about whether he'd come back, whether he wouldn't, and just his general thoughts. It says here, Coulter could return as Luke Cage only if it doesn't affect my schedule in a way that I can't do another season of Evil. I mean, I would totally entertain a good script and idea that made sense. Well, we already kind of found out that I get it. Like, I totally understand that if you are going to have scheduling conflicts, yeah, like, you definitely don't want to mess up your other money like that. Totally understand that. And like I said, if you shooting Evil, I understand that that's a little bit easier. I get it. But about Evil, it's already done. Yeah, like, final season's already shot. Show is not coming back. Sounds like you got time, bro. That's all I'm saying. Is that it sounds like it sounds like your schedule freed up. Maybe. I mean, let me see. Let me check his IMDb. Maybe my man finna do some other stuff. I don't know. Let me see. Because I'm just saying, like, I really would not mind if he came back. Let's see. Do we have let me go back to him. Okay. Let's see. What else you got here? What else you got? We got Mike Coulter. Oh, okay. He got a couple projects coming up. Evil. Yeah, that's already done. The Union, post-production, that's done. Alarum, that's done. Ship. I don't know what Ship is, but that's in development. Okay. Well, you got one thing happening. One thing. Hey, man. Why don't you come on back and get that coffee? Go have some coffee with them Marvel girls. Because I don't look like you all that busy right now. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. But he did have some more to say about the role. He says, I don't stay up at night thinking about it, nor do I recall it unless someone brings it up. But I enjoyed my time. I don't look in the past. If something comes up, great, we'll talk about it. But right now, I'm past it. Now, this was from, I believe, an earlier interview. He said here, I'm happy, more than happy, to let someone else take on that mantle or that role. That character's living on for a long time. Fans are going to have that character in one way, shape, or form for the rest of their lives. And I'm happy to have been a part of that for those guys. Okay, Mike Coulter, listen. It sounds like he's open to coming back. But I have to say, I totally respect the idea that he is cool with another black actor stepping in, picking up that role or that mantle so that people can allow the character to live on. Man, that is a crazy idea. Whoever would have thought about that? That's just letting the character. So it doesn't sound like he's worried about his legacy being ruined if another actor comes in and picks up that baton. That's crazy. That's crazy. I thought actors wouldn't want that to happen. I don't know. That's wild to me. I didn't know black actors wanted roles to continue by being recast. Did you? Anywho, guys, what do you think about Mike Coulter? Maybe coming back to the role, maybe not coming back. Look like my man got some free time. Personally, I feel as though like, yo, it's not often that we see big, swole black guys, dark skinned at that, having these type of opportunities or these type of roles, and that can act. Like it's either one or the other. Either you a big black guy and maybe you can't act, or maybe you just a dark skinned black guy and you just swole. Like, you know, I like Mike Coulter in this role, so I would like to see him come back. I think he did a pretty good job. I like to see him come back. But anyway, maybe it opens up the door for somebody else, another hidden talent that's been out there that no one knows about. Whatever the case, y'all let me know what you think about the Luke Cage situation. Do you want him back? Do you want it to go to another actor? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Tommy, Simon Kinberg is a very good producer and writer as well. He has written a lot of very good movies, but his issue is that he's not the best director. He's a better writer than he is a director. Yeah, I totally agree with you about the director. He's a terrible director. I thought that it was a bit presumptuous on his end to, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's the one that directed the Dark Phoenix one, if I'm not mistaken. I think he should have tried something less impactful, you know. But I've given him credit. That he's gotten some good stuff on his record. Would I call him a good producer? No, I wouldn't. Because to me, while some people can have flops, he's flopped so hard multiple times, it makes me wonder and question what you're going to get. Now, it's different to say, hey, you've gotten a lot of hits and maybe a couple misses, but I mean, to go from hit, rock bottom, hit, rock bottom. Nah, man. Nah. I can't sit here and be like, you're a great producer. I can't say that. But good luck to him. Thank you so much for that. So that's just not my classification for him. I couldn't say that, but you know, I'd say he's a dicey gambly. You know, that's not a word, but he's a gambly producer. We'll see. Nelson, Culture saying he's back as Luke Cage could be a spoiler. Maybe. I mean, I don't know what it would spoil though. Yeah, maybe. I mean, like, what is he spoiling? You know, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Is he gonna spoil Deadpool? Not Deadpool, Daredevil? Is he spoiling Echo or something? I don't know. You could be right though. You could be right. Maybe there is something there that could be somewhat spoiler territory, but I don't know. What else do we have? We got a quick Vision update. Man, so the whole thing with Vision apparently has been on the hold for a while, but it does look like Paul Bettany will be coming back. It says here that we're getting the Star Trek producer. What's this guy's name? Terry Matalas. He was the executive producer from Star Trek Picard, but he is going to be executive producing the next Vision series. Now, we don't know what it's going to be called. I thought it was going to be Vision Quest, but that was just the name in the comics. But it's going to be a Disney Plus series set for 2026. So we will see White Vision come back at some point later on. You know, I don't know anything about this guy, but Star Trek Picard has been a show that, at least from what I hear from you know, my Trekkies out there, that people really like it. The show came in, as someone that doesn't even watch Star Trek, I was hearing about it. So the fact that it was kind of penetrating just a little bit, I think that means something. So sounds good to me. Are y'all interested still in a Vision story? Is that something that you care about? Is that something you want to see still after he came back in WandaVision? If not, or if you do, let me know in the comments down below. Ah, man. We got this one. So we're going to stay on Marvel. Taylor Swift. To say that she's popular is an understatement. We've seen Taylor Swift have an impact on the NFL. Just the mere mention of her dating Travis Kelce, everything went up the roof. People started watching the Super Bowl 10 times more. Because she brought her whole fan base, people that didn't even watch football, started watching football just to see. And the NFL played right into it. They started showing her on every other play. They started showing her picture all the time because they just wanted to capture that other side of the audience. So to say that Taylor Swift is a magnet for attention, again, is an understatement. Now, this is a rumor, so please take it as a rumor. But apparently, Marvel has been in talks with Taylor Swift. Now, upon hearing that, a lot of people would think and probably assume that the talks with Marvel would be for the role Dazzler. Now, Dazzler is a character in the X-Men, universe. She's a mutant that can turn sound into like energy projections or something like that, whatever. But basically, she's a singer and she's a mutant. Okay, that makes sense for Taylor Swift, I guess. But that ain't what the rumor is about. The rumor is about Taylor Swift doing a lot more than just a quick little cameo in a Marvel property. Marvel Studios, according to this rumor, are reportedly developing a Blonde Phantom Disney Plus series. Taylor Swift is being considered to lead. It will be set in the 1950s, Las Vegas, and it's a crime-fighting spy series. No, thank you. I'm sorry. What did Anthony Mackie say? No. No. I don't want any piece of that. Not one. Nothing about that sounds interesting. Everything about that sounds incredibly forced only because it's Taylor Swift. This sounds like one of those cute little ideas that gets tossed in the executive room and somebody messed around and took them seriously. from what I understand, at least from, and I could be wrong, but I do not believe Taylor Swift has a lot of acting ability. I haven't seen enough to convince me that this would be a good idea at all. And again, this is a rumor. But if you were to tell me that she was going to just be a cameo, all right, get your little cheap pop in, I guess. But as a lead, like that means that she's going to have a lot of speaking parts. That means that we have to believe her. That means that we have to stop seeing Taylor Swift and we have to see this blonde phantom. I don't believe that that can happen. This is similar to my concern with the MCU trying to get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to come in and play Apocalypse. I don't want, if I have to see more of the actor and not enough of the character, that's not going to win. And for my wrestling fans, and I've said this before, but for my wrestling fans, this reminds me of the NWO era when it was WWE versus WCW. What do I mean by that? WWE, whether you're a wrestling fan or not, that's like the height, the peak of wrestling entertainment. But there was a moment back in the 2000s, late 90s, whatever, where NWO came up and they started going through the roof with the ratings. WCW has always been chasing WWE, but NWO in the WCW, when they came to that peak, they didn't know how to stay up there. So what did they do? They started getting all these celebrities to come in. Next thing you know, Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone, Mike Tyson, Shaq, they're getting all these random celebrities to come into their wrestling program. And sooner or later, it got so cheesy and so bad to the point where this already pre-scripted entertainment started to feel even faker. Jay Leno. Like, it was like, y'all are getting away from the already pre-scripted inauthenticity of the wrestling. I mean, I was tuning in because NWO was breaking the script. They were doing all this crazy, wild stuff. It was unpredictable. But when they started doing and leaning on celebrity, it got whack. And they eventually went out of business. I don't want Marvel to go down that route. Because one thing that has been apparent and clear is that you don't need star power anymore when it comes to recognizable IPs. I'm not saying Blonde Phantom is recognizable because I ain't never heard of her. I've never read that comic, so I don't know anything about it. But what I am saying is that when you're in the MCU, when you're in Marvel, Marvel don't need any help with stars in that capacity. They just don't. I'll give you a perfect example. When this upcoming X-Men movie comes up, when they do this X-Men movie, do you really think they need a household brand superstar name to play Wolverine? I don't. Because the role in itself is so iconic. The role in itself is so well known that whoever they pick to play Wolverine, that's going to be the new it guy. It's the same thing that happened with Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Y'all were not checking for Tom Holland until he got into the Spider-Man suit. Now he has recognition. Now he was able to do bigger and I wouldn't say better, but more things because of that. So the MCU in general does not need to go out there saying like, hey, we got to go find the biggest name out there. What's next? Y'all gonna get Beyonce to play somebody? Beehive, don't come for me. I'm just saying, Marvel don't need the Beehive. That's all. They don't. I don't want Beyonce in the MCU with a lead role doing this. For what? No, thank you. Now, if it's somebody who happens to sing, who happens to be a good actress or actor, that's a different story. But no, I'm good. I'm good. They don't need it. They do not need it at all. So I hope that this rumor stays a rumor. I hope that it never comes true. That is just not what I want. It's nothing against Taylor. I just don't think that it would be a good business move for this franchise. That's all. So you guys let me know. What do you think about this rumor? Do you want to see Taylor Swift and all the Swifties come on over to the MCU? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments. 60 plus. She's a cash cow, and Marvel wants to milk her. I'm sure that's the way she's being viewed. And I get the bit. I get why. I get why. Why are y'all saying this? Please don't do this. Why are y'all doing this? No. Please don't. Y'all trying to y'all want Marvel to fail. That's guaranteed right there. Hold on one second. I gotta walk the dog soon. Okay, let's go through all these. All right. Oh, Jesus. We have a quick what if update now. Recently we had Brad Winderbaum, who is I would say the number 2 in Marvel Studios. He was doing a bunch of interviews. He's in charge of all the TV streaming, Disney Plus stuff that you see, and animation. So he's been giving a lot of updates about different things going on with the future of Marvel Studios. And one of the things that he was talking about was what if, like what we can expect, what's going to happen in the 3rd season. Now, I have said that What If is one of my top 4 Disney Plus series. I definitely enjoy it. I love the anthology of it. I love the fact that we get different episodes and we get to see different things or whatever. I still think season 1 was better than season 2. Season 2, I felt it relied a little too heavily on the whole Captain Carter thing. And I didn't like what they did with Doctor Strange either. I love the new characters that they introduced. I thought that was great. But overall, I do enjoy What If. But we have a quick update from Brad here about what we can expect in season 3. And this is what he said in the interview. He said, what if season 3 that might be the one that comes out next in terms of animation. That is the culmination of a trilogy. We're actually close to completing that one, and it really feels like you've gone through this amazing emotional experience with Uatu, aka the Watcher, in a way that's what's great about the Watcher is that he presents himself as uncaring and cold and just an observer, but he cares more than everybody and anybody. That is on full display in that 3rd season. So it sounds as though for the 3rd season of What If, not only is it going to be our final season, so it looks like we're not getting any more, but it does sound as though the Watcher is going to be put to the forefront a little bit more, where he no longer is in that independent role, that position of being neutral, and he's going to care about the multiverse. He's going to care about the people and stuff like that, which is outside of his normal duties. I will say that I'm a little disappointed that that this is the final season for What If, only because to me, I'm like, What If should be a staple. Like, What If should literally be a series that y'all just do because you never know what to expect. It's always going to be something different. And it could be an easy way for Marvel to constantly just give fans a little something without giving too much of everything. So in other words, What If is the perfect place. It's the perfect outlet for Marvel for them to say, hey, remember how we couldn't get John Krasinski to be Reed Richards for a long period of time? We're going to give him to you in one episode of What If. A complete story. Cool. Great. Fine. Like, that'll be cool. Hey, you know how we couldn't get Angela Bassett to be Storm or whatever? Hey, at least we can give it to you in one What If episode all about Storm. Cool. In season 5 or something. So all I'm saying is that, like, What If to me is, or for some of y'all, hey, don't y'all want to see Killmonger actually come back and redeem himself and blah, 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 whatever, become Black Panther? Cool. Do it in a What If episode. It's the perfect, easy filler for anything that they want to do, and that I think could be good fan appeasement. And if you really want to get strategic about it, it could be a great way for Marvel to test different ideas, to be like, yo, we didn't know people would really like this episode. Oh, we didn't know people would really like that character. And there you go. It's a perfect barometer, but whatever. We'll see. Let's see. But y'all let me know. What do you think about this update for What If? How do you feel about it being the final season? What do you think about the Watcher getting way more involved? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. But wait a minute. Is it? Is this a troll? Are you? What? Did we watch the same movies? Is this like, we can't be serious? Cannot be serious. Like, I'm not even going to entertain it that much, but for real, the Black Liberator that literally kills Black people was a hero? Okay. All right. Go ahead and untangle that pretzel for me. Undo that knot for me, and then we'll talk. You let me know. Like, yeah. And he wanted to kill Black people along the way to do that. Let me know how that works. Cool. All right. Sure. Fine. That's always funny to me. That is funny. I'm not paying attention to more of those comments, by the way. Famous J, what you got? Hey, E-Man and E-Fam, I see Halle Bailey playing Dazzler more than Taylor Swift. Marvel needs better writing more than star power. Totally agree with you on the latter part. I wouldn't put Halle Bailey in there as Dazzler, only because I don't feel like hearing people whine and cry about it. You're just going to have the Little Mermaid effect all over again. That's all it is. And to me, it feels like it would be unnecessary. I'd say put Chloe Bailey in there. I feel like Chloe's a good actress. But again, I don't... Like, first of all, Dazzler is not a character I'm checking for anyway. Dazzler ain't going to make or break anything for me anyway. So, again, at most, if you want to Taylor Swift, give her 2 lines, put it in the background, leave it there. Let her sing, do whatever you want. Get your money, Marvel. Get your money. But I don't need a whole series. But you're absolutely right. They definitely need better writing than star power. 1,000%. 1,000%. Michael, what you got? Rihanna, Beyonce, T Swift. What do these multi-billion-dollar business women singers have in common? Acting just ain't their ministry. Can't be talented at everything. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, yeah. Listen, they definitely are talented for what they do. But no, like, we don't need them. I love what they do on the side. I love Beyonce is one of the most talented entertainers and singers we will ever see in our generation. Shout out to Taylor Swift. Let her do a thing. Rihanna is amazing. I don't need them in the MCU. That's all. It's not shade. It's not hate. It's just, I don't need that, you know? So, yeah. Well, it is what it is. Oh, I almost forgot. Oh, I should say that. No, that's a good point. Shout out to Dreamgirls. Dreamgirls was very good. I did like it. It was cool. It was good. Oh, I did forget. I should add this in here too. We do have some images from season 3 of What If. I don't know what kind of Gundam situation is going on. I guess they about to do a Gundam Captain America, I guess. So that's something interesting. Winter Soldier Bucky with Red Guardian. So this looks like when Bucky was still under his mind control, maybe. So that could be interesting. Looks like Red Guardian is going against either. I'm gonna assume that that's Hank Pym, because Red Guardian was more active in the past. So I'm assuming this might be something that takes place when he fights against Hank Pym. And then we got I like this. Okay, we got Sam. Sam is, Captain America, and you got Photon here. Okay, listen, come through hair. I see the hair. Okay, I don't know who this is, but yeah, it looks like they're in Shield or something. But listen, all the stuff in What If, who knows what is happening, what the situation is. But it does look kind of interesting of what's to come. So, we'll see what goes. We'll see what happens. All right, let's see. We got to talk about Spidey. So, Spider-Man. Listen, ever since X-Men 97 came out, Spider-Man the talks have been coming up about like, yo, can we get Spider-Man, the animated series, to come back? Because X-Men 97 definitely gave a lot of hope that you can revive an old series, grow it up, make it for the more mature audience that grew up with it as well, and make it work. Like that's man, that has set the table, right? So and when you watch X-Men 97, you saw at least 3, I want to say maximum 3 cameos. We had 3 cameos of Spider-Man show up. We had the Daily Bugle newspaper sighting. We had Spider-Man actually looking up in the sky. And then, of course, we saw Spider-Man, with Mary Jane and all that. So, it definitely seems as though Marvel is planting all the seeds to say that, yeah, Spider-Man animated series, this could be a thing. Great. I mean, I would love it if it could happen. But once again, we have Brad Winderbaum, number 2 at Marvel, in charge of all the streaming and all that. He was asked about, is this going to happen or not? Are we getting a Spider-Man 98? Like, what's going to happen? And he did, give a pretty Marvel answer. He said it is amazing to see them back on screen together, Spider-Man and MJ. I wish we could tell that whole adventure with Madam Web and figure out how exactly he did it. Maybe one day we as fanboys could certainly dream. He also goes on to say there's always the potential of a Spider-Man 98. I don't want to close the door on anything, but I think that for now, for the foreseeable future, X-Men 97 will own the 90s, and how much we bring in guest stars or tell stories from other Marvel characters from that era is to be determined, but it will be seen through that lens of the X-Men. Now, it's interesting because I do think that because of the cameos and because now of the interconnectivity that they've done with X-Men 97, if you do a Spider-Man 98, and it might not be Spider-Man 98, it might have to be Spider-Man 2000 or something like that, you're going to have to deal with all the other stuff that happened in X-Men 97. Like, Spider-Man just can't be like, oh, la, 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 la. Remember that time in Genosha? Like, all these things. Remember the time Magneto turned off the world? Turned off the lights on the world? Like, all these things that are happening in X-Men are going to have a bigger effect that Spider-Man or maybe any other spinoff shows, they can't ignore it. They can't ignore those things. So, you know, I understand them using X-Men 97 to, at this point, develop and open up this world. And maybe when things settle down, maybe, then they could bring Spider-Man in. Because right now, I'm asking my question. If Spider-Man comes back today, right? If they're like, all right, we got a Spider-Man story right now. I don't care nothing about what's going on with you and Mary Jane. I got questions about what is your reaction to Magneto turning off all the lights? What is your reaction to the fact that, you know, you got prime sentinels all around New York? You know, I want to know, what is JJ doing? Because y'all know JJ probably turned into a prime sentinel. Why did he how you going to deal with that? I have more X-Men related questions than I would for Spider-Man, you know, if that series came back. So I feel like they might have to kind of sort of figure that stuff out, lay things down a little bit, and then we can make a more natural transition into Spider-Man. Because right now, the world in that universe, it's messy. It's messy, but it's for the X-Men to really figure out, if that makes sense. But I could be wrong. Do y'all think that they could maybe juggle it? Do you think that if they did have an X-Men 98, which would only take place a year later, do y'all think that they can do that and the X-Men at the same time and maybe it doesn't lose focus? I know it's fiction. Anything is possible. I just want more X-Men. If I'm being brutally honest, I just want more X-Men. You know, I'll definitely take some Spider-Man too, but I want more X-Men 97 like now. But I don't know. You guys let me know. What do you think about a Spider-Man 98? Is that something that you would like to see at all? Maybe you think they should wait. Maybe they should come quicker. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. We're going to stay on Spidey because we got a Spidey and Wakanda update. Again, this is going to be coming from Brad Winderbaum because we're not talking about Spider-Man 98 with the animated series. But if you recall, Marvel is doing another Spider-Man spinoff animated series, and that's going to be the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. That's going to primarily take place. I want to say, I don't know if it's on the main timeline, but I recall when it was first presented that it was going to be kind of like a prequel to Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. So like him in high school in the early years. But it is also possible that this could take place in its own universe because multiverse. But we do have an update from Brad Winderbaum about what's going on with the other Spider-Man series. And then he also gives an update about the animated Wakanda series as well. So here's what he said. He said, I mean, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is amazing, no pun intended, to say the least. I think it's really going to surprise people. It is very much like a cut from the Steve Ditko era of comics. It's Peter Parker back in high school, just trying to make it work, take care of his aunt, completely broke, and having to be a superhero. Similarly, just because it's long-form storytelling, as those relationships brew when the stakes rise in that first season, things feel really tragic and dangerous and pretty incredible. Okay. I'm not too mad about that. I mean, if you think about the early Spider-Man, this is pretty much where his appeal came from. The fact that this was just a kid, he was in high school, he was trying to do his homework, but then he got to go stop this bank robbery. You know, He likes this girl, but all of a sudden he can't make the date because, he got to go stop the lizard or something, whatever. So this seems very similar to what Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to be going through. Obviously, the older Spider-Man, he's out of high school. His aunt, he ain't got nobody now. He ain't got no love. He ain't got no friends. He ain't got no family. He's by himself. So that's a whole different journey. But to show him in these early years, I think will be kind of interesting. It doesn't seem as though this is going to be another origin story. So it sounds like he's already Spider-Man, but we're going to see different things. One thing that was kind of interesting to me, and by the way, I wanted to throw this out there just in case. Norman Osborn is also shown to be in this. And I want to just bring something up. Hold on. Bear with me for a second here. Because I'm literally just now thinking about this. We had some images about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We had a couple character designs. So let's look at these character designs, because I want to throw one thing in here. I want to throw one thing. You see this Peter Parker. Okay, this is definitely old school, right? You see the old. Now this kind of looks more like the Tom Holland version. We see the different character designs and all that. And we see the different characters looking very Daria-ish. Y'all remember Daria? These are the different characters: Doc Ock, Scorpion, all of them. Is that? Oh, Doctor Strange is in this too. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I don't know what that creature is. All right, that I don't think that's a young Killmonger. I don't know who that is. But where is it? There he is, Norman Osborn. We got a Norman Osborn here, and if y'all already know, the Wave game is on point. Didn't we already say, and didn't we report that Giancarlo Esposito was going to be in the MCU? Listen, if that don't fit the prescription, I don't know what does. You mean to tell me that that's not Giancarlo already? I do. I think that's it. We know that Giancarlo can get them waves. We already know that. And we know Giancarlo can also play the evil businessman from The Boys. And clearly, they gave Norman Osborn a bit of a tan. Okay. I'm just saying, Giancarlo did say that this character was a new character. It was a character people were not fan casting already. We ain't seen no Norman Osborn in the MCU outside of Willem Dafoe's, version, but he don't count. I'm just saying. For the 616, I think Giancarlo could be our next Norman Osborn. If this is even close to being on the main timeline. I don't know. But I like it. I like the possibilities. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it does kind of look like Daria in terms of the art style or whatnot. But this looks interesting. It looks interesting. Next up, we have he has a update also for the Wakanda series. Winterbomb says Eyes of Wakanda is an MCU show. This is the history of Wakanda as told through the War Dogs, and it is some of the best animation we've ever done. Todd Harris is the creator of that one. That's just such a cool show. Now, I believe this is not the same as the Okoye show that was rumored to be happening. You know, the Okoye show, maybe with the Midnight Angels or whatever, that was something completely different. But this is a show I believe that Ryan Coogler is still going to executive produce. And you know, it is going to be animated. So we don't really know very much else. I mean, it's saying it's being told through the perspective of the War Dogs. I don't know what that means. There is a possibility that maybe Marvel is still going to hold on to the mentality that they need to keep showing us more mantles, like more people that have had the mantle of Black Panther over time. I've already expressed my concern with that. I've already told y'all that to me is not a way to build up characters by showing a revolving door of a bunch of different people that have been Black Panther. I have not seen that be proven more often than not in general storytelling. Most of the time we gravitate to a character and not the mantle that they hold. We don't watch 007 movies. We don't watch, Batman movies of anyone that plays Batman. It's usually always Bruce Wayne. It's always James Bond. It's always Clark Kent. It's always Peter Parker. So if Eyes Wakanda kind of is going through that, I'm a little iffy about that because I don't like the idea of pushing the agenda of it's just the mantle. Anybody can do it. I don't like that. It doesn't give me a same sense of we're trying to build this up. It feels very replaceable, and I don't like that at all. But no, actually, Spider-Verse is not even an exception because they still had Peter Parker, in that. Miles was in it, and that was great, but they made sure to keep Peter Parker right there in every movie. So yeah, I don't. The characters matter, even though yes, mantles happen. We do have Sam Wilson, but y'all don't think Chris Evans is gonna come back? Y'all don't think that's gonna happen? That Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America. Let's be honest, okay? That is gonna happen. But here's the other thing. I don't know who Todd Harris is. He said that Todd Harris is the creator of Eyes of Wakanda. So let's look up Todd Harris real quick. Okay. So this is Todd Harris. Okay, so he was mainly in the art department. Let's look at. Oh gosh. Okay, Todd. Let's see what you. Okay, hold on. Did a lot of stuff here. Scary Movie, After Earth, Hangover, The Wolverine. All right. John Wick. All right. Ted 2. Hitman. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did a little action with Triple X. Some more John Wick, Atomic Blonde, Thor Ragnarok, was the storyboard artist in Black Panther, Avengers, Infinity War, Deadpool 2, Venom, Avengers Endgame, John Wick again, Spider-Man, Fast and Furious, yikes, Hobbs and Shaw, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, John Wick again, and What If? Wait a minute. This guy clearly has some experience. What's he look like? Hold on. Come on now. And he's a brother. Okay. All right, Todd. Okay. Listen. You have my attention. You got a brother doing Eyes of Wakanda. He's clearly experienced with all Marvel action stuff. He's been able, doing the storyboard artist. Like, he's the one that's like, all right, y'all, this is the first scene, this is the second scene, this was going to happen in the third scene. So he's got the eye for this. And I feel like this is a good natural transition to move from storyboard artist into animation. I'm assuming maybe director here. So I like his track record. And I like that he's familiar with this stuff. So, we'll see what happens. Y'all let me know. How are you feeling about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, that animated series? Do you think Giancarlo should be the new Norman Osborn? What do you think about Eyes of Wakanda? Is that something that you're looking forward to? Do you like the idea of Todd Harris coming in and being the creator of it? Whatever you think about any of that, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. JM, what you got? Listen, man, I'm here for it. Giancarlo as Osborn. Yeah, I am too. I mean, I still hold the position that I feel like that role would be too easy for him. I think that he's played the evil business guy multiple times. We know he can do it. We know he's great at it. He's played the villain. I would have liked him to play a good guy, a good character. I like him in those roles, but I'm fine with it. I'm not going to complain. Like, if he plays Norman Osborn, I'm totally fine with it. JN, although I'd like to see him as Kang, I'm fine with that too. I think he could play a good Kang too. So, yeah, if he wanted to play Kang, sure. Fine by me. Fine by me. Kareem, thank you so much. I don't know if this was a comment or a sticker, but let's see. Hold on. I see one comment. Atomic Blonde was great. Yeah, dope. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say dope, but I did like Atomic Blonde. I did like it. I thought it was a really good little action flick. So thank you so much, Kareem. I appreciate you. All right. We got that almost done. Woo! All right. We got 3. How many topics we got left? We got 3 left. No, 2 left. We only got 2 left. We got 2 topics left. All right. Since we talked about it, let's go back to it. Black Panther. So after X-Men 97, we saw something interesting in the finale. And spoiler alert, if you still haven't seen it, I don't know what to tell you. Like, what are you doing? In the finale, we saw Black Panther show up. However, it wasn't the T'Challa that we thought it would be. Instead, it was actually T'Challa's father. Now, I have a whole video that I dropped about this on whether or not this was a plot hole, you know. And just to kind of give you the gist of it, because I know somebody gonna come in and be like, "Oh, E-Man, it wasn't the same universe, and all those stories weren't connected." Yeah, I get it. But as I pointed out in the video, there was always the intention that the Black Panther we've seen show up in random cameos in X-Men 97 was T'Challa. But some way, somehow, that got changed. And it was something that even Bo DeMeo said, I can't speak to that decision. Now, why he can't speak to that, Bo DeMeo being the showrunner that got fired for X-Men 97, maybe that's because he didn't make the decision. Maybe it's because the decision came from above him. And if it came from above him, it's only a couple people that could have made that call. Brad Winderbaum would be one, number 2 at Marvel, or maybe Kevin Feige, or maybe it was a joint decision. But either way, he can't speak about it. And maybe, again, it could be an NDA thing. Maybe he signed an NDA because, again, he was fired. And but it's interesting to me because despite the fact that he was fired and maybe he does have an NDA, he's still been talking about X-Men 97 up and down all day, every day. So it kind of leads me to the decision. Somebody higher than him was like, nah, that ain't T'Challa. That's T'Chaka because mantles. So I had even said in my video about whether or not this was a plot hole that we should absolutely, somebody should question Marvel about that, because I didn't get the interview. So I was like, yo, somebody needs to ask, what's up with that? Why is it that Larry Houston, the original guy that was in charge of the old animated series, not only X-Men, but also Fantastic Four, who did incorporate T'Challa. When he wanted T'Challa in there, why didn't y'all keep that same energy? Why the pivot? Why the change? Well, we actually got an answer from one of the X-Men 97 directors. I'm not going to read this, though, because I want y'all to experience this answer the same way I experienced it. So in order to do that, we got to listen to the video. So you already know what time it is. Let's get ready and check this out. All right. So we have Jake Castorena. Now, I have interviewed Jake before. He's the one on the left, on your left. I have interviewed him before. You can definitely check out my interviews with him. And let me just say, my interactions with him have been great. I've absolutely enjoyed talking to him. I love the insight that he brings. I feel like he is a passionate fan just like us. So when I heard this interview, I'll let you guys be the judge. So here's Jake. He is the overall supervisor, right? He's the guy right under Jake Bo DeMayo. So Bo DeMayo was the showrunner. Jake was the supervising director. So it was Kevin Feige, Brad Winderbaum, Bo DeMayo, Jake. Okay, y'all get the hierarchy right. So he's going to address why the change happened with Black Panther.
The Black Panther of it all are definitely closed doors conversations that I wasn't privy to. That was definitely in Bo and the executives' realm. But for us,
let's just get that clear. In the first 10 seconds, he already said he was not privy to this. So he had zero control about whether it was T'Challa, whatever. This was something that he said it was up to Bo DeMayo and the other executives. But we already heard Bo DeMayo say, I can't speak to this. He can speak about damn near everything else about X-Men 97, but he can't speak to this decision when it comes to Black Panther. So I'm going to replay it, but I want to make this clear. This was not Jake's decision, but he does go on.
The Black Panther of it all are definitely closed doors conversations that I wasn't privy to. That was definitely in Bo and the executives' realm. But for us, you know, there's multiple timelines, right? There's always there's always a one-off. This is exactly how I like it, except for that one thing. Okay, cool, but it's still the thing. So who's to say what timeline is the right timeline, proper timeline? I mean, y'all aren't even ready for how we're gonna you up in season 2.
Oh no.
We tease it at the end of 10. It's like we're gonna have to elaborate on that.
Yeah, it's like can't just leave that there.
Yeah. So and for at least for myself and what we this is set in the 90s. If T'Challa is the natural successor and is more of our era now, he would have still been a kid at that time. And while it is sort of retconny based on what 90s episode series you watch, right? Whether it was Fantastic Four, I believe it was Fantastic Four that even had T'Challa.
Yeah, it's true.
And that was before, and this nerd. I remember if T'Chaka was like assassinated or if like there was a back in time thing, but I remember they did T'Challa. But that's the best thing about our sandbox and multiple universes and things. For us, it just felt right. Like, you know what? I don't know what the mandates, and I can't speak to whatever the closed door conversations were. But as a storyteller, I'm like, oh, this is not the aughts. This is mid to late 90s. Like, you know, I like the idea that we're seeing the legacy characters. You know, just for myself as a creative, it's reminding the audiences, oh, this is an earlier time. It's just one of those other things that we could just help remind the audiences. We're not now, we are then. Why did they do this? Because we didn't know about that then, or we couldn't do that then. And so it's the constant, you know, just to kind of check that timeline math, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
To visually remind the audience, we are in the 90s.
Listen, I like Jake. Jake, feel like, man, that's that guy. We would go have a beer, you know what I'm saying? And we would talk nerdy comic stuff all day. Bro, you should have stopped that earlier. Hey, my name's Bennett. I ain't in it. That's all. You should just stop right there. Stop right there. Okay, because you already know how us nerds get. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, nah, man. That whole T'Challa was a kid while Storm was an adult. While Storm, they was a kid. How's he a kid in the 90s? But Storm ain't a kid in the 90s, and we know Storm and T'Challa, they knew each other. What are we doing? T'Challa's just a little kid. Even in the Reginald Hunlin, because he was a writer for Black Panther, when he did his BET special, while T'Chaka was alive, and T'Challa didn't even have the mantle at that point, T'Challa was a young man. He was a young man. He wasn't a little boy like in the comics. In the comics, he was a young boy, but he was a young man. Just like I said in my video, the original intention was to always have T'Challa. The Fantastic Four, and I'm not talking about the because I know somebody gonna try and correct me on this. I'm not talking about the Fox Fantastic Four that crossed over with Spider-Man. I'm talking about the Fantastic Four version that Morph turned into. That version also had T'Challa in there. Even with that said, even with the original producer and director wanting T'Challa to be the case. By the way, fun fact, if you go to the Marvel fan base, it used to say, I don't know the exact one, Earth 93211, blah, 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 90210, whatever you want to call it. That original appearance of Black Panther in the X-Men animated series, they just now changed it. I have to get a screenshot. Somebody sent me a screenshot. But so if somebody says, well, look, according to the Marvel database, that's just like Wikipedia. That anybody can change that. They just now changed it where now it says T'Chaka. But for 20 years, it had said that was T'Challa. And it had always been T'Challa because for over 50 plus years in Black Panther comics, it's always been about T'Challa, whether or not he's had the mantle, period. So, and I bring this up in love because I love what they've done with X-Men 97. And I'm not questioning any of their motivations or passion for it because, like he said, this wasn't his decision. I just don't want them to twist themselves in a creative pretzel to try and make sense of something that really didn't need to be overly complicated. So now you're going to bring in T'Challa as a kid? Please don't. I'd rather y'all just say T'Challa just hasn't gotten the mantle yet. Yes, T'Chaka's going to die eventually. Like, that's fine if you want to say that. But don't go trying to make this thing any harder than it needs to be. Please don't. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Anyway, what do y'all got? What do you guys think about this interesting answer about the change up with T'Challa and T'Chaka in X-Men 97? Whatever you think, please feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. JM, what you got? Hollywood has to do better by black male characters. Sure. Yeah, sure. I'll take it. Tyra, T'Challa knew Storm biblically. You know what? Stop. Yes, but stop. Don't do that. But yes. They was good friends. Stop it. They were super, super good friends. That's what that was all about. All right, we got two more topics. And then we will be done. So it seems as though Marvel is now going to be rebranding. Marvel is obviously, the MCU has become a huge thing, more than anyone could have imagined. And I've told you guys this before, that when it comes to Marvel, we are currently living in history. The fact that they have 45, 46 properties, not movies, but just properties, all that stuff is all interconnected and all that stuff, that is unheard of. We have never seen anything like that. So everything Marvel does, it's almost like LeBron James. Every game he plays, he's setting a record, right? So everything Marvel does is setting a record, and for it to be replicated in the future, who knows? Hollywood is certainly trying, but for the fact that they're at this point, that's definitely telling. But sometimes your own success can also be a flaw, or what made you successful can also be the cause of your downfall too. It depends. And this is one of the reasons why we see Marvel trying to do, I hate it when I do that. Sorry. This is one of the reasons why we see Marvel trying to do a rebrand when it comes to all of their productions. It says here, and this is again from Brad Winderbaum, number 2 at Marvel, there was a lot of pressure post Avengers Endgame on the public to feel obligated to watch absolutely everything in order to watch anything. Part of the rebranding was a signal to general audiences that we're creating a lot of options, and you can follow your taste within this brand. Some will be more comedic, some will be more dramatic, some will be animated, some will be live action. Marvel is more than just one thing. It is actually many different genres that just so happen to coexist in a single narrative. Okay. All right. And you know, I guess this kind of makes sense. You know, we're starting to see them branch off and do things like Marvel animation, Marvel television. So this is kind of what they're talking about in terms of the rebranding. They're trying to let you know, yo, everything in Marvel animation, that's under one roof. Everything under Marvel television, under one roof. Now, of course, it's all Marvel Studios. But I will agree that there definitely was a problem when it came to the requirements of needing to watch things. So, for example, the best example would probably be WandaVision and Doctor Strange 2. There's no way, as an average regular person, you could walk right into Doctor Strange 2 and just be okay because they just made a whole flip with Scarlet Witch from WandaVision. Like, they did a whole character arc with her, and if you did not watch that, it's very hard to appreciate what happened in Doctor Strange 2. So it totally makes sense that they would want to fall back on that, because you can't force people that have seen maybe 1 or 2, 3 movies here and there. Maybe they saw Infinity War. Man, they saw Wanda lose Vision. Maybe they saw Endgame. Wanda came back. She was mad at Thanos. But you missed all that in-between stuff with WandaVision, and now you jump into Doctor Strange 2. You're like, yo, why is Wanda tripping? That's a problem. So, you know, but you counter that with something like Black Panther. There are a lot of people that did not watch Marvel anything because there were no Disney Plus shows, but you didn't have to watch all 20 shows or movies to walk into Black Panther. Yeah, Claw was in it, but Claw, you didn't have to watch Age of Ultron to understand and appreciate Black Panther. So there is definitely value by not having a forced requirement of viewing in certain things. Totally makes sense. Now he goes on a little bit more. So the pressure, I just wanted to emphasize, the pressure was real that he was talking about. He says here, the article says Marvel intends to de-emphasize those connections as some audiences have come to see the 46 titles that currently make up the MCU as a barrier for entry. The characters, this is Winderbaum, The characters still live and breathe in the same universe, but the interconnectivity is not so rigid that you need to watch Project A to understand Project B. The hope is that, like the comics, you could just pop in anywhere and have a satisfying experience. We're trying to dispel the idea that you need to do any kind of setup work to watch anything else. Cool. You also see one of the other things here. So we got Marvel Animation and television, but you also have Marvel Spotlight. Now, I was a little confused about this too, but it says here Marvel Spotlight is meant to highlight one-off character-driven shows less connected to the MCU, such as Echo or Wonder Man, which is going to be starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Now, Marvel Television, that's going to include things like Agatha All Along, Ironheart, and Daredevil Born Again. So, you know, I'm okay with this separation. I'm okay with the fact that they're trying to make it easier for people. I feel as though that they should make a similar approach to what Netflix did with their shows. Give us Daredevil, give us Iron Fist, give us Jessica Jones, give us Luke Cage. Make them kind of sort of connected, but not really, right? You didn't have to watch Jessica Jones to understand Luke Cage, even though she appeared in there. But then keep that interconnectivity and give us Defenders. But guess what? Defenders made sense if you watched the Netflix shows, but you didn't have to watch Defenders and you didn't have to watch other Marvel MCU stuff like the Avengers movies to understand Defenders. So that to me is a nice approach if they kind of give it a tiered system where maybe the Spotlight shows, maybe they connect, maybe they don't, maybe they're one-offs, whatever. Marvel Television, yeah, I do think that they should connect, but I don't think that they should be requirements to watch the next movie. You know, like let it be a stair step type of approach. And I feel like that could be an easier, less intimidating way to get back into it. Because let's be honest, if somebody said, hey, you got to go watch 30 something movies and 15 shows, that's a lot. That is a lot to do. You could barely get people to watch a trilogy, you know, to get back into things. So I think that that's cool. Now, I would also say it wouldn't be a bad time, and maybe this happens, to do a soft reboot. If Avengers Secret Wars happens, and if it is a soft reboot, which I do think is needed, that would be a good way to kind of clear the slate and start over with your tiered system. But let me also say this too. While I do agree that it is essential to have certain entry points for new audiences, you don't want to lose that connectivity either. That interconnectivity is literally what puts you on the map. It's literally one of the reasons why so many people come out and watch things, because as an audience viewer, you feel some sort of payoff when you're watching a movie and you're like, oh, that connected to that other thing. You like that Leo meme where you're like, oh, I know that. Oh, that character, I'm aware of that. So there's a nice payoff. It's a nice reward to have things interconnected, but you definitely need to have a balance so that way it's not a requirement. You know, let it be a bonus. Don't let it hurt your movies or your shows, but definitely let it help. So I'm down with this. I like it. I hope that it works out. But you guys let me know. How do you feel about the fact that they're separating the different brands? They're kind of making it all different umbrellas. Do you think that this is a good idea for Marvel? Are you kind of apprehensive? Whatever you think, please feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, let's get on to the last topic of the day. Ooh, I got to hurry up and walk that dog because Kobe got to go out. So X-Men live action reboot. It's finally happening. We've heard rumors about this for almost a year now, maybe a little bit more. Kevin Feige back in 2019 teased that, hey, Mutants are coming. So, of course, a live action X-Men movie was inevitable. Now, when we look at the past history of the X-Men movies, they've been hit or miss. A lot of the Fox movies, the early X-Men 1, X-Men 2, decent, but they've had so many other bombs, X-Men Origins, X3, Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix. First Class tried to mix it up. It was cool. Days of Future Past, cool. Wolverine, Logan, excellent. So it's been very spotty. It's been a very spotty record with the X-Men franchise under the Fox umbrella. But ever since Marvel took over, there's been hope that Marvel will do a better job. Now, one positive sign has been the fact that with Deadpool, Marvel did not Disneyfy it by allowing Deadpool to be rated R. Deadpool is going to be the first rated R live action movie that we're going to get under the Marvel Studios umbrella. Cool. I have a lot of hope for it. I already told y'all I bought out of the theater. We're going to do a watch party. It's going to go down. But I've also told y'all that the X-Men have probably been one of, if not the most profitable franchise and most recognizable IP when it comes to Marvel, next to Spider-Man and Hulk, right? They failed Hulk already, but Spider-Man is definitely number one for them at this point. But Sony owns them, which means it's up to the X-Men to deliver. You need this movie to deliver. So we have an update, and that is they have found this guy. Y'all don't know who that is? I don't either. But that is Michael Leslie. Michael Leslie is now going to be the new writer for the live action reboot. Says here, screenwriter Michael Leslie also did The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, is in talks with Marvel to write the first X-Men movie. So let's kind of make that clear. He's only in talks. It's not 100% official, but for the fact that they're actually reporting it, it's probably more so a sign, a good deal. It probably is. Now, you guys are going to have to help me with this. Have y'all seen The Hunger Games, the Ballad of the Songbirds and all that? I haven't seen it. I was kind of turned off with the last Hunger Games movie. I watched all of them, but this last one, I was kind of like, I'm just not that very interested. So you guys let me know. Did y'all like it? Did the writing stand out for you? I mean, I remember when it came out, people were kind of like, meh. So I don't know. So I'm not going to comment on it specifically because I have not watched all of it. I haven't watched it. So we do have a little information here. It says here that, Leslie is British born, started his career in 2007. He adapted Shakespeare's Macbeth, which had Michael Fassbender, and he also did Assassin's Creed. This is where my concerns are coming in. Let's go to the resume. So he was born in the UK. Let me just say right off the bat, I'm a little concerned with that. This is not a red flag. I'm just going to say it's a yellow flag. Very light yellow. Very, very light yellow. Born in the UK. My question is, with the X-Men, let's just say that the X-Men's universe exists in a very exaggerated version of America. Is he going to get that? Is he going to be able to capture those elements into the X-Men. Just because, listen, it's possible. You know, the world looks at America. I don't know if it's in a good light or bad light, but the world does look at America. So I'm just wondering, I don't know very much about this guy. Does he understand American, not politics, but culture enough to put it into the X-Men? Because let's be honest, it's going to be I think it's going to be judged a lot by American audiences and how we relate to it. Now, am I saying he's got to put specific political things in there? No. But will he understand certain cultural references and stuff to put in there? Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. But I also got to look at the track record. As a writer, what have you done? All right. Heavy metal. I don't know nothing about that. That's a short. Whatever. Let's skip that. I don't know what that is either. Skirt. I don't know what that is. Okay. Eleanor, 7.5 or 7.9. Now, let me just say that when it comes to IMDb ratings, what is this? I don't want to see it. When it comes to to IMDb ratings, a 6 is kind of meh, average. A 7 is probably pretty good. Anything close to an 8 is like, yo, this was really good. So a 7.9 is solid. 7.9 is solid. 6.6, Macbeth? Okay, kind of, yeah. Assassin's Creed, 5.6. I got to talk to you about this. This is where my first red flag comes in for Mr. Leslie. Assassin's Creed was trash. It was absolute trash. And I say that as an avid Assassin's Creed fan. I own probably almost every Assassin's Creed game for the PS system, PlayStation. I haven't played them all, but I own almost all of them. And I played, I want to say half of them. Assassin's Creed is one of the easiest video games that anybody could adapt. Anyone. It's a simple concept. This guy hooks himself up to a machine. He's going back in the past to ancestors, and every memory is a different adventure at a different time in a different location. Maybe he's in the 1600s in the Middle East. Maybe he's in, the 1700s in England. Maybe he's in the 1400s in Egypt. Whatever. It is Hollywood's dream to have Assassin's Creed and make that a franchise, because you could literally change actors, you could change settings, but it's literally different time, different place, different person, action. That's it. And you still found a way to mess that up. And I'm not talking about like, oh, well, this was bad. No, you messed up the whole concept. It was almost as if you didn't even play the video game, because whatever you took from the video game, that I don't know what the hell you gave us in the movie. And I'm talking about from a writer's perspective. I'm not talking about the visuals. Hey, they gave us the blade, and hey, they gave us the hood. And no, the story was dumb. The story was bad. It almost looked like somebody told you what Assassin's Creed looked like, and you said, I can make a movie out of that. And you ain't pick up no sticks. You ain't do no leap of faith. You ain't do nothing. That gives me a huge red flag. Now, what else did he do? Little Drummer Girl, I ain't watch it, but it got good ratings. Okay, cool. Hunger Games, sounds kind of whatever. He's doing Now You See Me 3. We'll see. I don't know if that's going to be good or not. Haven, whatever. Hamlet. Hey, Hamlet, Macbeth. Okay. Listen, your British is showing. Okay. Your red coats are showing. I get it. And that's cool. I had no problem with that. Let me give you my other red flag. And that whole list of everything we just talked about that he's written. And let me just look one more time. Let me look one more time, and y'all help me out. I'm gonna look at what he produced. I'm gonna look at what he produced. American Drama, no, okay. This is what he produced: Little Drummer, Citizen K, Lockdown, The Rescue, 13 Lives, Pigeon, Rose to Freedom, Hamlet. So that was everything that he wrote and that he produced. Have y'all seen anything comic book related? Not Marvel related, not even DC related, just comic book related. The closest we had was Assassin's Creed, and you did a trash job with that? Red flag. Did we not just talk about Todd Harris? We talked about Todd Harris, who is going to basically be the creator of Eyes of Wakanda. I have no idea what he's done. I have no idea who he is, but this guy, he was a storyboard artist, and he's had an extensive resume full of Marvel stuff in general and John Wick stuff. That's the most we know about him. I haven't seen him do storyboards, but at least his resume says, I'm familiar with this genre. I'm familiar with this franchise. Here's why this is a red flag for me. I don't want anyone, whether it's the writer, producer, director, I don't want anyone coming in trying to do a last minute cram session on who and what the X-Men are. That's what I don't want. Now, maybe Michael Leslie, maybe he is a deep X-Men fan and we just never knew it. It's very possible. It's very possible that he has watched every movie. It's very possible that he has read every single comic. It's very possible. I don't know that. But I hope he's not going to be like, hey, I got the job and Marvel just gave me access to every comic. I'm going to start reading the comics right now. That's a problem. The reason why I say that's a problem is because, as I've said before, I don't want anyone thinking that just reading the comics is enough, because it really isn't. You want to have a sense of what impact the comics actually had and resonated with the actual audience. You won't know that by just reading. A quick little example. It's like when people say, I've read the Bible. Oh, okay. Or I've read the Quran, or I've read insert religious text. Okay. Just because you read something doesn't mean that you understand, appreciate, or can even relate to it. That's the difference. You could read anything, but it doesn't mean you get it. Here's my other concern, because y'all know E-Man does some research. You know, I said to myself, hey, if we gonna have a live action X-Men movie, and if we just came off the heels of an X-Men 97, which has definitely been one of the best things Marvel's put out, wouldn't it be dope if we could get a little insight from one writer and maybe share that with another? So your boy did, because I can't, I had to do my little investigative journalism. I decided to ask Bo DeMayo, showrunner, head runner of X-Men 97, a little question. Listen, it was a little different. I had to kind of cover my tracks a little bit because I didn't want to scare him off. I didn't want to say, hey, Bo, what would you tell the new guy that's doing X-Men? What does he need to do? Because I didn't want him to feel like he was pressured or nothing. So I asked the question a different way, and he answered. Here's what I asked him. Hey, Bo DeMayo, what would you say as a writer is key to writing X-Men? Any advice for an aspiring writer who would like to write, let's say, season 12 of X-Men 97? See, you got to hit him with the cheesy face. Because I do. And here's the thing. I do mean that. Like, it's not like I don't mean this question, you know. But I did want to see what he had to say. And he responded, thankfully. And shout out to Bo, by the way. Shout out to Bo. Look into yourself and figure out how its themes have manifested in your life. Then take what you learn and hide it in an over-the-top soap opera with superpowers. Man, if that ain't X-Men 97, I couldn't tell you what is. Bo DeMayo is a gay black man. Bo DeMayo took his personal experiences as a gay black man and sprinkled it amongst all the different characters in the X-Men. When you saw Cyclops go off on that reporter, that was Bo DeMayo's blacks. That was his black side coming out. When you saw when you saw Morph having those certain feelings for Wolverine, for Logan, that was Bo DeMayo as a gay man, basically having, you know, or as he would put it, having feelings or desires for a straight man and how that awkwardness exists. These little things, these little experiences, or even Genosha, the attack on Genosha, he likened it to the Orlando shooting, the club shooting, where a mass shooter shot up the gay club just because they were homophobic. Humans were mutaphobic, and they went and destroyed Genosha Bastion. So he took his personal stuff, looked at the themes, mixed all that into the characters and into the stories, and just added superhero stuff to it. And guess what? We ate it all up. Every single bit. We was like, yo, let's go, Bo. This is the greatest thing we've seen with X-Men. Can Michael Leslie do that? I don't know Michael Leslie's sexual orientation. I don't know. But I do wonder, can he relate to discrimination? I don't know. Is it a requirement for someone that is going to write X-Men to be a person of color, a different sexual orientation, or anything? No, it is not a requirement. Does it help? It can. Is it a requirement? No. But I do wonder, are you going to go as hard in the paint as X-Men 97 did with a lot of its themes in this live action? Because let's be honest, the live action is a bigger audience and they might not want to ruffle as many feathers. You might not see mutant lives matter in the X-Men live action movie. Maybe. So I do have those concerns. But there's one last thing I want to go over, and it's what I believe the new challenge is for the live action X-Men. Because as we've known, X-Men 97 has definitely blown things out the water. They are great with critics. They're great with fans. I believe it is currently the highest rated Marvel property on Rotten Tomatoes right now. So shout out to them. But at the same time, X-Men 97 has absolutely raised the bar for the live action X-Men movie. And I want to bring your attention back to what happened with Marvel's What If and the animated series where we saw Doctor Strange, and compare that to what happened in Doctor Strange 2. The What If series, within, I don't know, less than 30 minutes, did way more with Doctor Strange and his character and his story than the almost 2-hour long Doctor Strange movie that was barely even about Doctor Strange. Barely. I also want to draw your attention to what happens with us fans when we talk about, and tell me if we haven't talked about this, DC's live action movies overall have never felt like they've lived up to the quality of the DC animation movies. How many times have we sat here and talked about, yo, why can't they just bring the people from DC animation over to live action, and maybe we could actually get some quality DC live action movies in a row. Let's also not forget, our expectations as fans have gone through the roof. We have been incredibly spoiled by Marvel, especially starting in phase 3. After Winter Soldier came out, oh, we was on notice. We was like, oh, okay, what y'all trying to do? We had Thor Ragnarok. We had Black Panther. We had Infinity War. We had Endgame. We had Spider-Man Far From Home. And we were sitting there like, wait a minute, Marvel, like, slow down. When I tell you we was eating good from Marvel Studios, we was feasting. And then came Black Widow. Then Eternals. Shang-Chi. Wakanda Forever. And it just, No Way Home. Great. Doctor Strange too. Cool. We got the expectations was high. And we came crashing down. Phase 4 was a miss. Had some decent things, but it wasn't hitting the way it used to. And this is kind of where my concern is, because X-Men 97 done showed us this is how you do X-Men. This is how it's done. You don't think that we're going to be sitting here looking at this live action X-Men that's finally under Marvel Studios, which we've been hoping for? Every time we'd look at those old X-Men movies, we'd be like, man, if only they would sell the rights to Marvel. Man, I tell you, once Marvel get a hold of this, it's going to be different. You don't think Marvel's X-Men 97 just set that bar to the roof? Now, on a positive note, because Marvel has, as I've mentioned, and they've acknowledged their faults. I remember people thought Marvel was in shambles because of that Variety report that came out, talked about the reshoots that were done because Captain America was whack, talked about the Jonathan Majors whole debacle and all these different things that were going on and all the drama and stuff. People was like, yo, Marvel's done. And then we also saw Kevin Feige, Bob Iger, that was like, yo, we got to slow down. If you thought we was not doing well, you were living under a rock. Hey, I love that. I love the fact that they slowing down. I love the fact that they can admit that they've been lacking for a long time. I like that. So that is great. I like the fact that they've already announced that they're making changes with their TV shows. They're making changes with their movies. They're doing the necessary thing. They're firing bad writers, Blade, and they're hiring people that have better track records. I like that. But you have to admit that X-Men 97 absolutely has put the pressure not only on the live action X-Men movie, but on the MCU period. Ain't no way you could sit here and have a animated TV show that has a fraction of the amount of viewers that your other live action properties have. Because I think they only got 3.5, 4 million views compared to like 12, 20 million views. You can't have that outshining everything else. You just can't do that. So listen, I feel like, the pressure is on with this X-Men 97. I don't know this Michael Leslie person that well. I've already shared with you guys my yellow flags and my red flags. I don't know what this man has pitched to Marvel that they said, yup, that's it. Yup, you're the one. I don't know what it is, but I hope it blows us out the park. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't going to compare it to X-Men 97. Not after what they just gave us. Not after what they're about to give us in season 2. But I don't know. You guys let me know. How do you feel about this new X-Men writer that has been brought on board? How do you feel about the new direction that we're going with this X-Men stuff? Rumor has it that we might be getting this X-Men to happen after Secret Wars. If that is true, I'm totally on board with it, because I don't really think it makes sense to just jam the X-Men right in there. I feel like, as X-Men 97 has shown us, the world that the X-Men come in, the universe, it's so complex. It's so rich with discrimination and a history full of politics and all of that. It doesn't make sense to just be like, okay, well, because we want X-Men, we got to throw them in there right now and let's just go. I feel like you do need to reset the universe. I feel like you need to make sure that everything, we get the history, we get all the drama, we get all the politics, we get all the social elements in place so that it feels authentic and real and not forced and contrived. But you guys let me know, what do you think about this X-Men live action movie? Do you have high hopes for it? Do you need to see more? We still don't have a director yet either. Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right. Let's grab these last couple comments. Marley, I thought directors pitch ideas. They do, but writers do as well. So, for example, Bo DeMayo pitched a story. I don't know if he pitched it, but he was one of the writers for Blade. But whatever reason, they didn't like that. So, I think it can go both ways. I think a writer, if they have good enough standing, could possibly pitch something. But the mere fact that they're trying to get a writer before the director, I think that that's pretty telling, right? Like, because if it was directors only pitching, then we would have had a director before a writer was even in talks. You know what I'm saying? So I think it could go both ways. Baker, what you got? Nope, they could have kept that last Hunger Games. If I had to hear one more badly sounding song sung, I was going to lose my mind. Was it a musical? It was a musical? I didn't see it. Please don't tell me Hunger Games was a musical. Stop it. Are you kidding me? Yikes. I did not know. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, let's get to Anthony, because I know my man, he was making the donations. What'd you have to say here? By the way, did you hear the Drake rap on the BBL Drizzy? Yes. By the way, y'all should be following me on the Twitters, because that's where I post some of my more ratchet stuff. So on Twitter, I don't care. So I will post things on Twitter. So yes, go follow me on the Twitters. And yeah, that's where I posted the song, actually. I posted the song and the beat. Let's see. You said here, when I heard him rap over Sexy Red, I believe you hear two bads sharing a Fisher-Price toy microphone. You go on. Thank you again for the contribution. His verse was okay, but I doubt even Nas and Eminem could save it. I only bring this up since we talked about the beef before. That song was 5 Hot. Sweaty packs of Boo Boo. You can save this for the end. Oh, there you go. Hey, great minds. Good stuff. Comp recap next Friday. Bye. Hey, good job. Good luck to you, man. Appreciate you for that. And yes, I would totally agree that was a dumb move by Drake. And keep in mind, I'm a fan of Drake, so I'm not some Drake stan. I'm not a hater. I'm not a Kendrick stan. I like Drake. This was dumb. This was bad. Bro, first of all, how you gonna take a diss beat and try to rap over it, and the bars weren't even enough to like undo the damage? You thought you had a Uno reverse card, but you're still drawing 4 from what Kendrick hit you with. You're not doing anything with this. As I've said before, Drake should have stayed on vacation, let the dust settle. If you want to do some features, that would be fine. Do a couple features with other people. That will show people, you know what? I took it on the chin. no Diddy, but I'm still dope because people like Drake's features. His features are great. You could be getting people distracted with other club bangers on other people's tracks. It shows that you are unbothered. It shows that you have moved on. It shows that you still got it. It shows that you still on top as an artist. But you just reopened this wound that you really clearly have not healed from. What are you doing? This was just bad PR. And the bars were not good. Bro, you're helping the enemy. You're helping Kendrick. And you're helping Metro Boomin. How you gonna help a music producer? They don't even rap. Bro, you're beefing all wrong. That's all. You're beefing all wrong. And you do it with the same woman that Kendrick said you and her look like two bad bees. He don't get it. This did not help. It did not help at all. So I don't know what he doesn't get. I don't know why he don't get it, but yeah, that Drake thing was just bad. Just bad. All right, guys. I want to thank you so much for the attendance here. I want to thank y'all for all the support as well. Always means a lot to me. I think that's it, guys. We have a couple. I guess I'm only gonna have a week or two for a break, but we got some TV shows coming up. We got a bunch of things that we're gonna have to talk about. I don't know when everything airs. I don't know when we're gonna be going live, but we got House of the Dragon. We got The Boys coming up. It's a lot of stuff. By the way, y'all let me know. Would it be helpful if I compiled my House of the Dragon videos into one video for y'all? Would y'all want something like that? Is that something that you would watch? Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't really remember everything that happened at House of the Dragon. If I'm being honest, I don't remember all the ins and outs and all that. Listen, I still remember Princess Never Ever. I remember the Green Feet Princess. I remember Dragons Are Coming. I remember that. I don't remember all the insides and outs. That stuff I don't remember. But y'all let me know, because I was thinking about putting it all together. Maybe just doing only the recaps. Maybe doing all the recaps with all the commentary. I don't know. If y'all care, let me know. If don't, that's fine too. But just let me know, because we got to talk about them dragons, and then we got to talk about other shows too. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. Have a fantastic 3-day weekend. Be safe out there during Memorial Day. Shout out to all the veterans with us and not with us. Make sure y'all get some good barbecue. Don't invite everybody to the barbecue. Yeah, wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. Until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later. Peace. Up. Of course. Oh, hey, come on now. Hey, listen. First of all, this is always different opinions are always available. You know, don't ever think that. I only block people that are literally like trolling, like in a bad way. So you good in my book. It's okay to also be wrong about Killmonger. I'm just messing with you. Not. All right, bye guys.